Sports Radio is back.
It'll be Kulak moving the puck. Rebound scores! Kulak moved in, and an Edmonton area kid has the opening goal.
The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Moved up. OG! Ties it.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Trout to the end zone. Touchdown! Tank Dell! C.J. Stroud!
Good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley with you here. Wednesday edition of the show, Game Day. The Oilers in action tonight, taking on the Seattle Kraken down at Rogers Place. Puck drop just after 6:30. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more on the show today, coming to you live from the eWell studio, proudly sponsored by your local electrical distributor. Stay tuned for an electrifying show that'll light up your day. Like I said, I am Connor Halley. Gregor on his way right now, just at a local ceremony where he's being honored. So he couldn't exactly duck out and just leave. So he let me know he's going to ask that I run the show for a little bit here. Declan Kruger alongside with me. And we will guide you through the first segment or two. Of course, the Jason Gregor Show, as always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only legal gambling website. If you're going to gamble, use your game sense and maybe you can have some fun tonight as the Oilers taking on the Seattle Kraken. Once again, victorious over them on Saturday night. It was a 4-1 game. They'll look to do the same tonight. And something tells me McDavid and Draisaitl won't get shut out once again like they were on Saturday. So maybe there's some bets you might want to make. Of course, you can always text us at the text line, 1-833-401-1440. Corey says, hi, just wondering if this is the 1440 Sports Show number. Yes, Corey, it is. You got us. You are in. The rig saying, was Gregor being honored at the Hair Club for Men? No. Philanthropy. Gregor does a lot of this community. He's being honored for it. Of course, we've got the Help Your Neighbor going on right now, and Month of Giving will be starting in no time. So lots going on. Gregor properly being honored today. But like I said, he will be here quickly. He will be here for sure. Of course, you can always send us emails into the Jiffy Lube inbox. For now, that'll be Connor at sports1440.ca if you want to send those in as well. Coming up on the show today, there's a lot going on. Of course, it is Who Is It Wednesday. And I could give you some hints, but I'm going to let Gregor do it. He'll be in shortly from 3 to 4, as we always do on Wednesday. We have former, current athletes coming in for a long-form interview. They stick around for the entire hour, and it's always a real good time. So we'll get to that at 3 o'clock. Before that, though, we'll be joined by Tyler Yaremchuk of Oilers Nation, as well as Daily Faceoff. Get you ready for tonight's Kraken Oilers game. He was in Seattle for the Oilers game on Saturday. They had a pretty interesting weekend with the Nation vacation, checking out a Seahawks game. I think they went to Aqua on Sunday night as well. We'll be joined by Kraken TV analyst and former NHLer JT Brown. He'll give us the Kraken side of things. At 4 o'clock, we'll hear from Mike Rupp of the NHL Network and a former NHLer. Always good times with a Rupper. Then at 4:20, we're going to be joined by AEW superstar Nick Wayne. Talk about what it's like to get into professional wrestling and the road that you go down in that career. Because, I mean, that's something that's super interesting. Obviously, we've had Bret Hart on this show, superstar. His story was very cool. Nick Wayne's going to be great as well. And then at 5 o'clock, we'll be joined by Mark Spector to do all we can to get you ready for the game tonight. Starting to get a lot of texts coming in here, 1-833-401-1440. Aaron, looks like you want to give the boys a hard time. Probably Low Tide and Declan. But Aaron, Low Tide's gone already. He's not going to see this, so you got to text him in tomorrow around noon. He'll definitely see that one. Oilers lines from practice today. These come from Tony Brar of Oilers TV. Not too much change among the top 6. But in case you did miss it, Dylan Holloway, he was on LTIR. They said week to week. Gregor yesterday reporting month to month with the LTIR. That puts you out for 10 games or 24 days. So it'll be a little while. Adam Ernie obviously recalled, as was Philip Broberg and Raphael Lavoie. Lavoie will not play. Broberg will be the 7th defenseman. And Adam Ernie will get into the lineup with Connor Brown out. So the top lines looking like this. Number 1, you got McDavid with Gagne and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Line number 2, one that I particularly like, Evander Kane, Leon Draisaitl, Zach Hyman. Third line is McLeod, Derek Ryan, Warren Foegele. And then you've got Ernie, Hamblin, and Lavoie. Lavoie, yeah, he will be playing 4th line right wing. And then the defensive pairings for tonight, you've got Darnell Nurse with Cody Ceci, Ekholm Bouchard, and then Kulak Dernay. Stuart Skinner obviously gets the start between the pipes. He's been great the last couple of games, over 900 save percentage, only 2 goals allowed in those 2 games. So clearly he's going to get the look. Let us know at the text line now, what do you think of the Oilers line tonight? Maybe more specifically the bottom 6. I think everyone's going to say top 6, pretty good. You're expecting big things. But the bottom 6 there, Foegele, McLeod, and Derek Ryan, Ernie, Hamblin, Lavoie. Let us know what you think at 1-833-401-1440. On the other side, for the Seattle Kraken, a good news for the Eberle fans. He will return after suffering a little skate blade injury to his leg. He'll be with Matty Beniers and Jared McCann. You've got Schwartz, Wenberg, Tanev, Tolvanen, Gord, Bjorkstrand, Cartier, Bellemare, and Yamamoto. Kyle Yamamoto returning to Edmonton. He'll be on the 4th line. Defensively, Larson, Dunn, Oleksiak, Orion, and Dumoulin Schultz. So as we knew last time, a couple of former Oilers returning to Edmonton now, taking on their former team. That one will get going at 6:30. So a long ways to go before that one. As we always like to let you know, if you are looking for some pregame coverage, you can always turn into Oilers Nation's YouTube channel, Pregaming with Borsey, an hour before every game. We are going to go inside the room in a minute here, but very quickly, if you are watching on the YouTube stream, you might see that I have a little bit of a mustache going here. And since Gregor handed over the reins to me and allowed me to go for it, I want to say, if you want to make a donation to my Movember fundraiser, let us know at the checks line. Let us know in the chat on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're watching from. I can easily send you the link and take your donation, because we're a month in. The stash is looking a little bit creepy. And if we can raise some money for men's health, it's a great cause. Absolutely would love to do that today. So if you want to donate, please give me a link, 1-833-401-1440. Bones texting in, does low tide ever stay long enough to hear the Gregor Show opening? Well, I've got low tide's producer, Declan, behind me, and he's out of here pretty quick. He's giving the thumbs up. Yeah, he's usually gone pretty quick. He's a busy man. He gets out of here very quickly, especially on game days. He's got to get home, probably write 3 or 4 articles before he actually sits down and enjoys the game. So no, he's got lots of things going on, as one does when you're a person like Alan Mitchell. Right now, let's go in the room. Oilers head coach Chris Knobloch speaking to the media today in the room, presented by NextGenTransportation.com. Congrats to Devo on making the national bobsled team. Good luck at the World Cup events and Olympic qualifier. Very cool. Very cool. Gregor kind of knocks on those guys, for the lower body strength, but Devo, he bucks that trend. You got to be very strong in that lower body to compete in the bobsleigh, and very, very cool news for him. Like I said, though, let's hear from Oilers head coach Chris Knobloch.
Just wonder, preparation-wise, obviously maybe a bit easier because they just saw this team. So how much do you dig back into that game and sort of game plan through that?
Yeah, no matter if you're a new coach coming in with a team or a returning coach, you always want past experiences used against to prepare your team for the game. And just the fact that they played them just a few days ago, obviously that's a big part of getting prepared for this game. And teams obviously make changes, but you want to make the games that recent biases or recent games as much as possible.
Hey Chris, Dylan Holloway's had such bad stretch of luck since he's, from the wrist injury on. Just can you give us an update and how long is long term for?
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate, and it sounded like he was starting to build a pretty solid game. Obviously, he had a really strong one in Seattle. I was very impressed with how he was playing in my game, and unfortunately, crashed in the boards, injured, and lower body, and he's week to week. Excuse me, week to week.
Now I have three new players coming up. I imagine this is kind of similar to the American Hockey League. We got guys coming in and out all the time. And how do you kind of incorporate the three new guys and to just meet them today type thing?
Yeah, no, I did just meet them today, and there is a lot of fluctuation with the lineup. In the American League, it's often you are you might be losing your lower end guys that are going to the East Coast, but a lot of times it's your top guys who are going to the NHL, which you're changing your special teams so much. And here it's just not so much. But yeah, no, Adam will be going in tonight. He will be playing left wing, and Broberg will be as an extra. So obviously having the seven defensemen as we head out on the road trip will be good for us.
And just the last one for me. Your predecessor was a big 11-7 fan. I just wondered how you about that.
So, excuse me?
He's a big 11-7 fan. He played 11 forward, 7.
Yeah.
I just wanted your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's difficult. Having 11-7, 11 forwards. It's nice when you've got some guys that take up a lot of ice time. Draisaitl, McDavid, double shifting those guys. Tampa Bay did that quite a bit. 7 defensemen. I know the defense coaches often don't like it because it takes away the flow of their game. It's nice having the defensemen playing with their partners and having that stability of that. And when you have 7, it just changes that up. Now, there's benefits on how you split that up with special teams. If you've got guys who are really good on penalty kill, or maybe you've got a group of 6 that you're very solid with and you need another penalty kill defenseman. I don't know. It all depends on the situation and, more importantly, what your D group look like.
Chris, you're the assistant coach for Dave Hackstall in Philadelphia. Can you look back to that and what it was like?
I've got a lot of respect for Dave. I think he's an outstanding coach. I think he's got a calm demeanor behind the bench, but he's very passionate and very knowledgeable at the game. And I think he connects well with his players. And my time there, I think I learned a lot from him. And a lot of the way I coach is a lot of what I saw from him my 2 years that I got to work with him. So I have a lot of respect for him, and feel nice to beat him tonight, but I do know that I assume his mom will be coming at the game, and I know she will be cheering for me because she is a diehard Oilers fan. So I know I've got that.
What did you know about Dave before you got the job? I mean,
I didn't know Dave at all. I didn't know Dave at all. I previously met Ron Hextall. I think Ron had introduced or recommended me to Dave, and I had an interview with him, and it worked out well. It worked out really well for me to get that opportunity.
You said you learned something from Dave. What did you learn?
Just the preparation of day-to-day, what it takes to be an NHL coach, of the managing of the staff, the players, the schedule, what type of practices to have, how much players can what kind of information they need for that meeting, or when's too much and when's too little. So just those nuances of the day-to-day business.
Thank you.
Chris, just wanted to clarify the lineup. You said that so Lavoie and Ernie would be in, and Broberg and Brown are out. Is that correct?
Yes. No, Brown's not quite ready. We hope when we hit up the road that he will be in, but unfortunately tonight, he's not playing.
Yeah, and Skinner will go for you again?
Skinner will be our starter.
All right. What would Chris Knobloch, the coach, have thought about Chris Knobloch, the player?
I don't know. Not good enough.
Is that how
smart, defensive-minded, just slow, doesn't get around the ice very well. I don't know.
So is that kind of why you got into coaching? It just, yeah.
If I could have played longer, I would have. I love the game. I love playing, and obviously, could have stayed in Europe and played for a little bit, but it was start to move on, and that's how I got into coaching.
When I ask people about you, they say that you try to earn players' respect and not demand it. Why is that important to you, and how do you go about doing that?
I just treat them like people. I treat them like the way I want to be treated. I just feel that you're open, you're honest with them. It's so easy, as I know, parenting or coaching, it's so easy to point out negatives. You want a correction, you point that out, that's a negative. But so easy it's so easy to point out all the positives that they're doing, and I try and go out of my way to encourage them to be doing things the right way, and the best way is that positive reinforcement. So, it's. And then when I do need to correct something and I need to address something, I want them to know that, no, it is fair. He does recognize the things that I do well. So he's not just picking on me. He must have a valid point. I'll try and work on that. So it sounds like an easy philosophy. It's not that easy, but that's kind of the way I approach it.
Thanks. And just one more. I just wonder, sometimes, or a lot of times when a coach comes in mid-season, it's team it's way later in the year. You're looking toward next year. Obviously, that's not the case here. So I wonder how you're trying to approach that, and if there's one or two things you're really trying to key in on to turn this around as quickly as possible.
There's no magical switch. It's nothing that's, we need to do this. I don't know. It's just the mindset of just getting better each day. And, we're approached, first couple of days was defensive zone coverage, a little bit of our line rush against. Obviously, we wanted to become better defensively, giving up more or fewer chances. But we want to get better on our face-off assignments. Maybe we're trying to create some scoring chances off the offensive zone face-offs. How we create chances off the rush. All those things we want to get better. Certainly not happy with anything. And even when we're, if we were fortunate enough to be on a 10-game winning streak, we're always looking to get better something. So right now I mentioned those things that we're working on. Now we're going to be moving on, maybe some more offensive principles.
Noticed in the locker room this morning, there was a bit of a shift with the players. The D were all sitting together. They'd moved some things around. Is that a coach-driven thing, or is that something that the players have decided to do? Where does that come from?
No, it came from the coaches. Paul and I were talking, and I just think it's just, we want stability. We want players communicating, talking, and
for lots of different people who help out various different charities.
The defensemen want them together, and they're talking about their plays, their situations.
Who are just doing some amazing things, helping others. Lots of people that are connected to this show in various ways, sponsors and people. Big shout out to Dale at Booster Juice and Trent and everybody at James H. Brown and lots of other places. It was really inspiring just listening to the stories of what people are doing, the unique ideas that they're doing to help others in all different parts of the community. And so it's really good timing because we are just over 2 weeks away from month of giving, which is coming up. And Corey dropped off to kind of get things started. He's working out of town. He was going out of town. He had emailed us, said, "Hey guys, I got this set of very unique. It's a Connor McDavid. I got a picture. I'll put it up. But as we get to month of giving, but it's two like bar stools that they're made out of those wood casket barrels, and then the centerpiece has the logo of the Oilers, and then the tabletop itself has a picture of Connor McDavid. And for Oiler fans, you're gonna these things are unreal. I know Cons has seen them. We got him covered right now, so we don't want anything bad to happen to him at all. Don't want Carrius putting a drink on it or anything like that. So, but that looks awesome. So, for guys, you know what? You're looking in your fan cave. This would be an ideal thing. You got a cabin maybe outdoors, maybe in the garage. It's phenomenal. So, month of giving starts in just over 2 weeks' time on Friday, December 1st. And big shout out to Lisa and everyone at the Christmas Bureau who nominated me today. It was very humbling and a real cool room to be in. So it was awesome. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll get lots more on the Edmonton Oilers. We talked about it yesterday. Raphael Lavoie was basically, they saved about $4,500 in cap space for that one day, him going down and then coming back up. Broberg is here. Also, Adam Ernie. Ernie's going to play tonight because they're obviously give Connor Brown 3 extra days until he's ready. I would expect you'll see Connor Brown on Saturday against the Tampa Bay Lightning. And the Oilers looking to get on a 3-game winning streak. We'll see if it happens. We'll discuss it next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Your furnace is broken. Legacy Heating and Cooling will give it a good talking to and make it smarten its act up right now.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If your furnace is disobedient and refuses to heat.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you just want some peace of mind this winter.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Plus, Legacy never charges overtime rates. Always call Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit bieeng.com.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Being on this road together means saving twice during the Fountain Tire Road Ready sales event. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 select tires. Plus, get a bonus $50 off any service until December 16th. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com. Restrictions apply. Financing available. Ugh, fine print.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Our cars are our lifeline, and every now and then we need to take care of them too. Cochran's Automotive services your vehicle with pride. When you need to fix it up, bring the whole family fleet. Junior's WRX, Mom's MPV, Dad's 1500, or even Grandpa's old 88. All makes and models are welcome. Trust Cochran's Automotive to professionally repair your family's pride and joy. They've got you covered for Volkswagen diesel timing belts too. Call 780-452-5001.
A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Roger Weird at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
The Taboo, everything to do with sex show, is coming back to Edmonton this weekend. It's Edmonton's sexiest all-inclusive adult party. If you've never been to the Taboo show, you don't know what you're missing. Introducing Glow Friday and Masquerade Saturday. Taboo has something for everyone. It's all about feeling sexy. Bring your sweetheart, your friends, or come alone. Grab a drink, walk around and enjoy non-stop stage entertainment, shopping, and seminars. Bad Dragon presents The Taboo Show this weekend at the Expo Center in Edmonton. Visit tabooshow.com.
Black Friday early deals are on now at Canadian Tire. Plus, tomorrow only, Triangle Rewards members collect 20 times bonus CT money when they spend $150 pre-tax. Value that adds up at Canadian Tire. Qualifying purchases. Conditions apply.
Welcome back. It's game day on Sports 1440. How are you? Jason Gregor alongside Connor Halley. The Edmonton Oilers, of course, getting set to take on the Seattle Kraken for the second time in 3 games. Had a 4-1 win in Seattle. I'll say first period, based on the history this season, first period is very important. The Oilers, it's their best period. They are tied for the 3rd most goals in the league in the first period. But then they get crushed in the 2nd and 3rd, and Seattle's pretty much the same way. So if the Oilers can have a good start, maybe we could see them basically repeat what happened against the Islanders and the Seattle Kraken, where they did not give up very much. That's obviously the key for the Oilers. When you're not chasing the game, when you're not playing from behind, you don't have to take unnecessary risks. And well, although sometimes we've seen even when the Oilers had a 2-goal lead, they took unnecessary risks. I think that's the main message now for this team, which will lead to some not so riveting games. Let's be honest. Those last 2 wins were good, but I don't know if they were top of the line excitement. But right now, I think Oilers fans are like, whatever. I don't care if it's exciting. I just want to see the team win. And the Oilers do have a chance, though, tonight to start climbing their way out of the basement in the Western Conference. Of course, San Jose is behind them. A win tonight would put them ahead of both Nashville and Chicago, move 2 points back of Seattle with 2 games in hand. And slowly, it's going to be a long haul for them to get even in playoff contention. So we'll see, because currently they're, 8 points out right now behind St. Louis for that final wild card spot. It is it's less than ideal, to say the least, less than ideal for the Edmonton Oilers. Let's get now in the community, brought to you by United Cycle, 4th generation family owned and operated business in the heart of Old Strathcona for all your sporting and cycling needs. And they've supported hockey and the community for over 95 years. United Sport and Cycle, as we welcome in to the program our weekly Wednesday guest, Tyler Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation. And Ty, it's only one game. I'm not even going to ask what differences there are in the coach. I do think there's some philosophical differences. He's talked about consistency. I don't think we'll see the lines juggling as much, although wait till they lose. Maybe that'll change things. Also, if you just heard his response, I don't think we're going to see a lot of 11-7 either.
No, I don't get that vibe either based off what Coach Knobloch had to say. So I think it's interesting. I believe there are scenarios where it makes sense for
Try
the
to get
Oilers.
him fixed up there in a second. So we'll retune there so we can get that queued up. But I could see him, I couldn't hear him. So Cons, you have the board set up? Rookie over there, jeez. There's a yellow button he's probably missing. That's what I'm guessing. We'll see what happens, but they'll test it out first over there. Meanwhile, you can always text us 833-401-1440 in our Jiffy Lube inbox. Got a lot of text flying in. Hey guys, is it just me? There's a lot of people that would wish the Oilers kept losing just to fire Holland. From Dan. Well, I don't know, Dan. I always try to remind people that social media is not a fair representation of society. Okay, that it's a small portion. That's what it is, right? So you have a few people who complain. That doesn't mean everybody's complaining. 10% of people have Twitter. 10. So I wouldn't make an assessment of the Oiler fan based on what you read on social media. But here's the reality: in life, there's smart people, there's average people, there's ignorant people. Doesn't matter what walk of life. Think about, go around your office, right? Every office has a different personality group, right? Doesn't matter where you are. So I don't think Oiler fans are going to be indifferent, right? I would say the vast majority of Oiler fans want the team to win. And they don't really care how it wins, right? And some people are going to be more worriers. Some people are going to be more optimists. You can't expect every fan to be the same. That'd be boring as hell if everybody decided to cheer for the exact same player the same way. Everybody was going to imagine if everybody loved Puljujarvi as much as Low Tide, right? It would be boring, right? Ty, you can hear me. Can I hear you?
Yeah. Hello.
No, we can't.
Okay.
Get
All
on
right.
it. So we'll figure it out. But I don't know what's going wrong. But rookie boards over there. There's some gremlins in the board all of a sudden. They'll try to figure it out. We'll get them over the phone though, so that clarifies things. Should give you a hint today. Who Is It Wednesday is coming up at 3:00, and multiple championship winner. It's won player awards. Really bright dude, right? College, university degree. So that's coming up at 3:00 today. looking forward to it. Tyler Yaremchuk now from Oilers Nation is with us, and I think we can hear him now. So Ty, I guess give me your thoughts on that initial question on, it doesn't sound like the coach is a big fan of 11-7. I don't think the line juggling is going to be as much early on. What else do you think might be different over the coming weeks?
Yeah, I think that's going to be really interesting. I chatted with Bruce Kurlock, who does a lot of like system breakdowns for us over at Oilers Nation, and he talked about going back, watching some of Knobloch's teams, and they like to attack a lot of east-west through the neutral zone, which I think could be a really interesting way to maybe unlock some of the Oilers' speed off the rush. And even hearing what Bouchard had to say about working with Paul Coffey, like Paul Coffey kind of made it sound like he wants these guys playing with more pace, getting up in the action a little bit, which is good. To me, that's playing to the Oilers' strength. Like they should be a fast, up-tempo hockey team. So that's something I'm maybe looking forward to in the next couple of weeks here. And as far as the 11-7 things go, like sometimes I kind of like them going 11-7, especially like if you were to have fourth line wingers that were Lavoie and Connor Brown, then I think they probably benefit more from 11-7 when they can get shifts with 97 and 29 versus just getting shifts with James Hamblin, right? Like it brings a little bit more offense to everyone, but I also kind of understand that it's not entirely sustainable to do that for 82 games, right?
No, I don't think so. And I really like for forwards, it's beneficial. Defense hate it. Right. And, I think the defense coach now, Dave Manson used it in the minors. So maybe he was a little bit more comfortable with it. Some others would, but it is hard to get guys in game. It's hard to get in rhythm for sure. It's funny. I would argue that defense pairing continuity might be more important than forward continuity. So, we'll see, but I don't think that's going to be it. I look for the Oilers tonight. Starts really haven't been a huge issue for Edmonton, Ty, but the second period, like last year, the Oilers had the most second period goals. They had the third best goal for differential at +27. Only Toronto and Boston were higher, so they're the best in the West. This year, only San Jose in the league is worse. Like the Oilers are -9 in the second period. It's amazing how terrible they've been in the second period.
Well, it's just wild to see how much their identity has gone away from last year. Like you talked about it last year, they came out of the gate slow a lot. And there were a lot of games where they stormed back in the back half of the second period. They stormed back in the third period. And it was always on the heels of their power play and getting a couple timely saves from Stuart Skinner. And that just totally went away in the first 5 weeks of the season there. And then you look at that game against the Islanders and like, yeah, it's hard fought until the third period when their stars in their power play take over. Stuart Skinner made a couple of big saves. And it was like, okay, I feel like I've watched the Oilers win that same way 9 to 12 times last season in the regular season under Woodcroft. And why it went away is an absolute mystery to me, whether it was just a weird prolonged slump or whether there was something with tuning out the coaching staff, which I don't buy as an issue, but I know people keep bringing up. The fact that they just totally lost that sort of identity for 5 weeks just blows my mind. But the fact it seemed to come back in that first game under Knobloch it's encouraging.
Yeah, well, the other thing for Knobloch, just watching practice, the analogy for anybody out there, because it's easy to figure out, between the dots in the middle of the ice, like if you're going from one end of the ice to the other, and you just think of the dots where you have the face-offs, right? All the way, that's a straight line all the way up and down the ice. If you're in between the dots, a lot of people like to call it the highway. That's where you can go fast. That's where you want to be if you're on offense. Meanwhile, the defense wants to put you in the ditch outside the dots. And there was lots of drills in the neutral zone where they were really focused on eliminating plays through the middle of the ice. And I know it doesn't mean it's like a snap of your finger, but that's something to watch for tonight, I think, is how Knobloch really wants them to try to take away the middle of the ice. People, every coach is going to have different things they emphasize. That seems to be one of his.
Yeah, and I think with a couple of D-men on the blue line, like Matthias Ekholm hasn't looked as fast as he was last year, and he wasn't that fast last year. Cody Ceci can struggle with it at times, so if they can keep people to the outside more, I think that's good. It's also going to lead to less scoring chances, or it should, in theory, lead to less chances from high danger areas, right? If you can keep teams out of the middle of the ice. So again, small changes that maybe we won't see, or we didn't see against the Islanders. Maybe we still won't even see it tonight, but hopefully over the course of 2 to 3 weeks, this team just keeps getting a little bit better and a little bit cleaner. And that's something I know you've been big on, Greg, is like, just stop giving up the brain fart gift goals, right? And if you keep teams to the outside, that's probably a big step in doing that.
Yeah. Oh, and slow them down through the neutral zone, right? Because that's where they were getting absolutely shredded. Now, I know it doesn't impact the Oilers right now as far as wins and losses, but I think it does impact them as far as what's going to happen. But when you see the 3 games in the American League for Jack Campbell, do you think there's any way he salvages this season? Or do the Edmonton Oilers just look and say, okay, you know what? We might be looking for another goalie, somebody who's on a $1 million or less type of deal. And that's going to be our tandem with Stuart Skinner, and Jack Campbell's just going to, sit in the minors, and then they'll have to buy him out in the summer.
Yeah, I think that the latter there is the likely one. Like, I had a little bit of hope that he could go down, play well for 4 or 5 weeks, and then pop back up and be a serviceable backup for the Oilers. But after watching these 3 games, like, he just appears to be so broken as an athlete. And we know Jack Campbell is very hard on himself mentally, dating back to last year. He often came out and faced the media and wore the brunt of it. And going back to his time in Toronto, we heard about the mental issues that he kind of faced at different times. So on a personal level, you feel for Jack Campbell that this isn't going right. But I think it's at the point where if you're the Oilers, you also don't want to stunt Olivier Rodriguez's development by just playing Jack Campbell 10 out of 11 games for the next, 2 months in the American League. Like, it might be time to just sit there and go, you know what? It's not going to work. We're going to have to move on in the summer. And then the question becomes, do you buy him out? And I know I looked into the buyout. It's, not the worst, most painful buyout ever, but still, you hate signing up for 6 years of dead money on the books, or, that cap it extending for 6 years. I wonder how much of a sweetener they'd have to add if they kept half of his contract, because I think I'd rather just have 3 years at 2.5 than the, 1.1, 2.6, 2.4, and then 3 years, 1.5. If you can get it over with quicker and add a sweetener and get someone to maybe take them at 50% retained, that's probably the preference. Like, buyout should be the last resort, but I don't know. I still got a funny feeling we're probably going to end up there.
Well, it would be awful considering Neil's buyout still now only 1 year left, and you throw in, and even though it's not very much, it's still, hey, 1.5 mil is a lot of money. That's a really good depth forward on your team. And then potentially the bonus overages of Connor Brown. Like, it would be awful. Let's call a spade here. Ken Holland or whoever precedes him or whoever takes over. I think they'll have to do everything in their power. If Cal Peterson can get traded, now I know they had to retain $2 million on Provorov, so maybe it's impossible to do. But man, you're going to have to find some way to be a magician and do it. Or maybe Jack Campbell magically finds an injury, right, and spends a few years on LTIR, because you don't win. You can't compete when you have all basically dead cap space, too much of it. I just don't see how it's possible.
Yeah. And a scenario that I was reminded of today, just again, because I had people when I was doing my show at noon talking about, how they felt bad for him from the mental side, like how tough his mental health must be right now. Remember last year when Spencer Knight went into the player assistance program, and it wasn't substance related, like that was a mental health thing for him. I believe he was struggling with his OCD at the time, but maybe that's something Campbell looks into this year. If the Oilers go, hey, look, we think this season is lost and we want you to get right and be in a good spot mentally, maybe you can, I see it. And again, I just don't know, but like, is there an option for them to LTIR him with a mental health injury?
Yeah, I don't know enough about it. I don't know if he has, to me, I would never, I don't know if him struggling isn't necessarily mental health. Kevin Woodley's talked about how he has like he's got a coach that he's really happy with as far as him not being, so difficult on himself, but I don't know if that's a reason going to LTR. He's simply got to play better. Like if you watch some of the goals that are going in, like they're going right through him.
Yeah. Like he's not even competitive. Like again, if it was backdoor tap-ins or, scrambly American League hockey that was resulting in odd man rushes, then yeah, you'd sit there and look at the numbers and go, okay, throw him out. He's stopping all the pucks he's supposed to. But like Bakersfield probably should have won that or been way closer in that hockey game last night. And 3 and maybe even 4 of those are like, whoa, that's a very, very stoppable puck.
Tyler Yaremchuk joins us from Oilers Nation. When would you start Pickard?
I think I go Tampa on Saturday. And I know at first people might be like, whoa, what do you mean you'd go Tampa on Saturday? Like it's the Tampa Bay Lightning, Kucherov, Stamkos, Point. They have 6 wins in 15 games this year. They do not look like themselves. And I like the line that Stuart Skinner had a couple of nights ago or however long ago it was, where he said, I just need to be better than the guy at the other end of the ice. And I look at the Lightning and it's Jonas Johansson or Matt Tompkins, who have had moments this year. They've had good starts this year. But I think Calvin Pickard can go give the Oilers a competitive game against Jonas Johansson or Matt Tompkins. And when you look at the schedule coming up, like Washington's red hot. That's not really a free space on the bingo card. Carolina's starting to piece things together and they're getting healthy. Like Tampa Bay might be the softest spot on their schedule over the next 7 to 10 days.
Yeah, them or Washington, right? The Capitals, I give them a lot of credit where they're at, but I still wonder how long it's sustainable, but good for them. Right? Even without Backstrom, the Caps are doing very well. One last one for you. We're hearing lots about it, and it's basically, this is like July 1st in November. Patrick Kane sweepstakes. It's a free agent. You don't have to give up anything to get him. Where do you think he lands?
I'm leaning Buffalo still. I know Larry Brooks came out and said the Rangers aren't that interested or never were interested. To me, I think a multi-year deal in Buffalo is going to be the way this thing goes. You know, hometown kid, the storyline of it all is great. They're now missing Tage Thompson for a chunk of time. So I think there's a little bit of pressure on Buffalo to go add some juice to this forward group and try to keep surviving in that impossibly tough Atlantic division. So I'm going to go with Buffalo as my favorite to land him. I think the fit and the storyline and the fact they can give him multiple years and a handful of $1 million, not just like a league min deal like some other contenders, all of that lines up with Buffalo.
It's true. I do wonder about the Tage Thompson injury, though. Ugh, that's brutal for the Sabres. And, you know, I still think the best fit for Kane, or the team that needs him the most, is Carolina. The best fit, though, might be Florida.
Yeah, I mean, the way they're rolling right now, Sam Reinhart, top 5 in the league in goals, and every time one hits the back of the net, it's just cash register noises going off in his head with him being a pending UFA.
Well, it's a good start. Kachuk's not doing much for them, at least point-wise. He's not being terrible, but, you know, when he gets going, that helps. You got Barkov. Man, you get Patrick Kane there. Whew. And you get their defense healthy again. Whew, Florida, good for them. Hey, guess what? You know, people talk about injuries. Good teams overcome injuries, and that's what they've done. They've had 3 key players out. Arguably their top 2 defensemen in Ekblad and Montour. And then you throw in Sam Bennett, who's only played 2 games. He got injured in the second game. Right? Oliver Ekman-Larsson's being reborn in Florida. Reborn in Florida.
Yeah, their numbers with him on the ice are like outstanding, and he's eating like 20 minutes a night. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's played very well. Ty, we'll chat with you later, man. Have a good one.
See you, Greg.
That's Ty Yaremchuk in the community, brought to you by United Sport and Cycle. 2:43. Take a quick break. We'll return, and we are going to chat. We got our big guest coming up at 3:00 today. Also, we will, of course, Spec will be by later on. We're going to hear from JT Miller, actually JT Brown, not JT Miller, JT Brown. Analyst for the Seattle Kraken. Mike Rupp, Nick Wayne, and more on sports. 1440 live on Oilers Nation YouTube.
Hi, I'm Colin from Cantork. The call letters and studio have changed, yet Edmonton's passion for sports endures. Cantork proudly continues our partnership with Jason Gregor and is eager to get back in the game on Sports 1440.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise.
Hello.
Understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
Get your vehicle ready for winter with Jiffy Lube. Drive-in, drive-out service with 25 extra air miles with your Shell Go Plus app. Be wise, winterize. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving.
What's better than getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee? Getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee for only $4 plus tax. It's your favorite McDonald's breakfast for less. What's better than that? For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
Hey everyone, it's Kelly here from United Sport and Cycle. Christmas is just around the corner, and we've got everything for the athlete and sports fan on your list, including United gift cards. United Sport and Cycle, your Santa's workshop for over 95 years.
You know, I got into reffing for the excitement.
He's going for the chair!
Turns out wrestling is completely scripted. But you know what's exciting and...
Hello? Can you hear me?
Alberta.ca. With an
hello.
odds boost and betting on any game.
Hello.
.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today with promo code SPORTS50 and get a
that's a no.
official gaming partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
When I
Remember,
go to the audio, it's showing my mic moving.
Go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk, family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
It's simply the best time to buy. The Black Friday event is on right now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. You'll save up to a game-changing $7,500 off your purchase or finance as low as 1.49%. Choose from a winning selection of 2023 cars and SUVs like the sleek S60 or the roomy and comfortable XC60s and 90s. Black Friday is on now at Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Visit 1205 101st Street Southwest or chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com.
Are you ready to light up your game like Edmonton lights up the ice? Then choose Ewell. Electrical Wholesalers Edmonton Limited offers lightning fast service. Just like your favorite forward, they deliver your electrical supplies in record time. Plus winning quality. They only stock the best. And don't forget about their all-star support. When it comes to customer service, they're the playmakers. So don't sit in the dark. Make the power play and visit Ewell today. Online at ewel.ca, where excellence in electrical meets the heart of hockey. Full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our Next Gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com.
Order the juice, get the points. Now at Booster Juice, it's rewarding to be loyal. Introducing the Booster Rewards app, the reward program to give you a boost. Order on the app and enjoy one berry free for tasty Booster Juice treats like your favorite smoothie, a booster ball, grilled fresh wraps and paninis, and cool Booster Juice merch. And with the Booster Rewards app, the more you order, the more you enjoy. Download the Booster Rewards app today. Order, earn, enjoy.
You know, I got into wrestling for excitement.
He's going there.
Turns out wrestling is completely scripted. But you know what's exciting and unscripted? PlayAlberta.ca. With sportsbook, odds boosts, and betting on any game.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today with promo code SPORTS50 and get a $50 free bet. Official gaming partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
I've won my fantasy league 7 years in a row.
Something we get to hear about every weekend.
And he stops at nothing to win. I have my techniques.
Oh, yeah. Like the time you got us all plastered the night before draft.
Or the time you sent yo mama jokes to me until I agreed to your trade. But every year, I take my winnings and buy everyone Wilhauk beef jerky.
Wilhauk beef jerky. Because
It's the only reason why I'm still talking. Yo mama. Too.
Truth Grove and West Edmonton Mall.
Hello and welcome back to the Wednesday edition of the Jason Gregor Show and Sports 1440 live on Oilers Nation YouTube. Gregor Show, as always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. The Oilers hosting the Seattle Kraken tonight as We get to the oil report brought to you by VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. Now until the end of the month, you can get unbelievable savings, $7,500 off retail price on S60s, XC90s, any 2023 vehicle right now at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. Stop in this weekend, take a test drive. You won't be disappointed. And we are joined now by former NHLer. He's an analyst for the Kraken. JT Brown joins us. JT, welcome back to the show. Appreciate your time. The Kraken, similar like the Oilers, both 100-point teams last year, both not off to the starts that they would like. And the Oilers, they've been one of the teams, if you look in the brief history of the Kraken, the Oilers are the one team that they've really struggled against. Now, lots of teams the Oilers have beat, but the Kraken have been really competitive against a lot of teams. What is it about the Oilers you think that's given them so much trouble that it's not a great matchup?
Well, thanks again for having me on, but that is a good question, right? You think look the records overall. I think it's Edmonton 6-2 against the Kraken so far. So they just have that number, and I think you look at the top production from McDavid and Draisaitl in those games. Against Seattle. I mean, they have quite a few points so far against them. So when it comes down to it, those guys are coming up clutch against Seattle, and Seattle does match up well against other teams pretty well that are good, like Colorado. It's a team that Seattle played really well against. You go back even into the playoffs and into last year and starting this year too. It's just one of those things, whether that's a mental side or a mental break. But you just look at the skill level of those two guys, those forwards up top that I just mentioned, and they can burn you at any time.
Yeah, and Colorado's the perfect example because McKinnon and Rantanen are pretty skilled. Yet, Seattle has success against them. And they got
another good 1-2 punch, right?
Yeah, they got that Makar kid on the back end. He's not bad either. And it is weird sometimes. And you played for a long time. There's just something about certain teams and I wonder if it maybe gets in your head after a while. And you tell yourself all the right things, and then suddenly you find yourself down 1 or 2-0, and you're just like, oh God, here we go again.
Correct. Yeah, you can say the right things, but subconsciously. It's obviously in the back of the mind. I think you obviously have to know when those guys are on the ice too, and all of a sudden 1 or 2 goes into the back of the net pretty quickly, especially if you look at the last game, they end up being down 4 in the first period. It's very hard to come back from something like that, right?
Yeah, and it's funny because they beat Colorado the other day 4-3, but overall, their starts, what do you feel has been the difference this year, or what's lacking, or what's different this year so far than how they played and performed last year?
Yeah, well, outside the last game against Edmonton, their first periods have actually been their better periods overall. They've been getting out to a better start than that, but the problem has been arising usually going into the second, going into the third period, and not necessarily playing that same game that got you the lead, or even you could be tied, you could be even down, but playing well, kind of just not coming out with that same. So trying to put together a full 60 minutes, and even though I say it, I hate that, because at the end of the day, you can't have a full 60 minutes. The other team is going to have their chances and have their domination to a part, be in your zone. So as much as you can of a 60-minute game, continue to have that effort, but just trying to find ways to, eliminate another team's momentum when they do pick it up. And right now that just hasn't been the case. It's been good first periods and kind of looking into those second and thirds, and, it kind of falls away from them.
It's funny because the Edmonton Oilers are in the exact same boat. The Oilers' first period's good, and their second and third periods, terrible. Like last year, they're the highest scoring team in the second period, had the third best goal against differential, and this year they're dead last. I guess I shouldn't say dead last. San Jose's worse, but San Jose's worse in pretty much every category. How would you evaluate? Because last year Seattle won all these games at 100 points. They didn't even have a 900 save percentage from their goaltending. How would you evaluate the goaltending this year?
I think the goaltending's been good. I don't think that that's the issue, or the problem. I think if you look at some of the goals that are scored, you're asking your goaltenders to make some really big saves, especially early on. It was more of the puck just wasn't finding the back of the net for the Kraken. Obviously getting some good looks, but you look at last year, it just seemed like everything was going in. You look at their shooting percentage, the amount of players that had career highs, and also some injuries too. You got some guys that definitely can help the lineup that weren't playing for a stretch, and some that still aren't. So
a little bit combination of everything, but definitely just more of the puck's just not going in. Sometimes that's for a lack of, getting to the front of the net and getting, more shot opportunities. But, when those chances were there, they just weren't bearing early.
Yeah, last year, Seattle was the best team 5-on-5 goals for, most in the NHL. And, it was combined up and down the lineup, and I think that can become infectious. JT, I'm sure you've been on teams where every guy's feeling it, and you're like, hey, this is unreal. It's fun. Well, the Kraken come in today. They're tied for 25th in 5-on-5 goals. So Captain Obvious says, hey, that's a difference. But Lux, I think, too, would be downplaying the skill it takes to score. But what do you not see in 5-on-5 in the offensive zone that was there last year?
Yeah, so I think it's more of the second chance opportunities. Just getting in on the forecheck. That's one of the things that are the common theme when you talk to players on other teams when they play Seattle. It's a tough game. It's not fun. They're very relentless, and obviously they're still a tough team to play. But it's getting those second looks and those opportunities, forcing those turnovers. They were very good at using the forecheck to create those turnovers and opportunities that then put them in the position to score a 5-on-5. But just right now, just maybe it's a half step behind, or dumping the puck, but everybody's already standing at the blue line, so you're not able to get in and get that traction and just kind of wear teams down in that sense. Where again, you got times where McDavid and Draisaitl will be on the ice, and it's a long shift for the defending team because they just keep moving around and around, and eventually the puck would go in the back of the net. And Seattle did that more by a committee and getting line changes at the right time, and just continuing to wear down on teams that way in the offensive zone.
JT Brown joins us, analyst for the Seattle Kraken. Of course, they're in town tonight to take on the Edmonton Oilers. Early start, 6:42 puck drop tonight. The Kraken overall, I guess, do you have an update on Eberle? Obviously, it was pretty unfortunate situation. Sounds like it could have been worse, and thankfully it wasn't. But is he a week? Is he 2 weeks? Any idea how before he returns?
It should be. It looks like he's in tonight.
Okay.
Just based on the lineup and Hackstall talking afterwards, and Eberle as well. Everybody's obviously excited to have him back in the lineup and what he can bring, not only with his leadership, but just on ice play. And it's a good opportunity for the Kraken to kind of get closer to being a healthy as well as a full team, having Brandon Tanev come back last game as well.
Well, hey, the greatest pitcher taker in the NHL. That's always good to have him back on your lineup. But he's an energy guy, right? Like, he's an energy guy. He, Turbo, I think, is his nickname his teammates call him. Like, the guy plays high intensity. If you look at Seattle tonight, is it they got to score first? Is that really the way to win based on how they played in the second and third period? Like, how important do you think the start is? And when they do start well, what are they doing early in games to get ahead of teams?
Well, I never want to say that, if you get scored on first, it's over, but I think you definitely want to keep it within one if you do get scored on first, not allow, that snowball to get going and be down 2 or more early. So I think, having that start, you can't control whether or not you score first, but I definitely think that, trying to keep it within one is reasonable, and then just continue to build your game, because sometimes it does take, whether it's a full period or into the second where you fully build your game into what you want each night. So I would definitely, it'd be better if they scored first, but I wouldn't count it over. And what they're doing right away is they're playing North. It's an easy way to say, but a lot of times they get themselves into trouble too. When you start going back, you start looking for a better play, and that's where turnovers start to happen. And, when you have an explosive team that has offense power like Edmonton does, that can definitely backfire for you. So when they're just playing North, getting into their forecheck and creating turnovers that way versus trying to make, the individual type plays, that can be problematic. So for me, it's always just, how do you start that game? Do you get in? Do you get on the forecheck? Are you giving a hit? Are you taking a hit? And, that's just how they played all last year. And in some of their better games this year as well, it's just been a road mentality and just kind of wearing teams down that way.
And one last one, totally not Kraken related, but I'm trying to get everybody's opinion on this. Where would you come out on the NHL's talking about, kind of eliminating over and back, right? That, you take the puck in the offensive zone. You can't then revert back across center just to waste time and regroup. Would you like that as an analyst and former player? Do you think it would benefit it? Or is there some negative that we're not seeing if they start banning that from the game in 3-on-3?
I don't know. For me, the question is, I don't really like 3-on-3
that
much, to be honest with you, but I don't like the shootout that much either. So, for me, I'd say the back and forth, are they going to stop the putt, stop the play as soon as they go over? And then you start from a face-off again? So it just seems weird. It might delay the game more, take away some of the flow if you do that stop, or if you have to stop the game every time somebody goes back like that. So I don't know what's the perfect answer, because definitely teams have figured out, how to play and to possess the puck and kind of just wait till the other team's tired and wait for that opportunity. And sometimes, that can not be as exciting as you want. Obviously the 3-on-3, when it's going up and down the ice, scoring chance after scoring chance after scoring chance, the fans love it. Obviously the players are engaged in that. So I'm not sure what the perfect answer is or what the perfect result is for overtime, but I don't know if stopping the play or not allowing them to go backwards is the right one either.
And D pairings, JT, which one with McDavid and Draisaitl on separate lines tonight? Is Larson against McDavid? What do you think would be the D pairs ideally that Seattle would want?
Yeah, I think you definitely would try to get Larson out there as much as you possibly can. But, I'd also look at Jamie Alexiak and Will Borgen have done a good job so far this year, been very good defensively and been playing, tough minutes as well, going against some of the top guys and, trying to be really physical with them, right? And try to, make it hard every step of the way. And I think everybody here knows how good of a defenseman Larson can be, though, too. So with them splitting up, it definitely makes it a little bit bigger of a challenge, you can't just put one set out and hope there's both guys. But I would say it'd be a combination of, the Larson and Dunn and Alexiak and Borgen as well.
JT, man, I really appreciate your time. We'll see you at the rink. Thanks for this.
All right. Sounds good. Later.
There you go. That's JT Brown, analyst for the Seattle Kraken. Oilers, hey, they've had their way with the Kraken. It's funny because Seattle plays really well against Colorado. And look at the top talent that Colorado has. McKinnon, Rantanen, Makar. It's pretty good. But they've played very well against Colorado, including beating them in the playoffs. Yet when the Oilers play them, the Oilers are just, it's kind of like Spank City a little bit for Edmonton. Like the Oilers have spanked them in their 6 wins handily, scoring at least 4 goals in every one of them. So we'll see if that continues tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. When we return, Who Is It Wednesday? You'll find out next after Connor Halley. Sports 1440 update brought to you by BIE Engineering, specializing in all your residential, commercial, and industrial structural engineering needs. It's BIEENG.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day, the Oilers in town tonight hosting the Seattle Kraken. Puck drop just after 6:30 down at the Ice District. Elsewhere, Hurricanes host the Flyers. The Ducks in Colorado taking on the Avalanche, and it's the Islanders up against the Canucks. Tonight at midnight, the NHL's Global Series from Avicii Arena in Sweden has the Senators taking on the Red Wings in the association. The Raptors will host the Milwaukee Bucks. Tip off at 5:30. Giannis Antetokounmpo won't play in this one. You've also got the Mavs taking on the Wizards. Hawks host the Knicks. Celtics take on the 76ers. The Magic in Chicago. Suns host the T-Wolves. Kings up against the Lakers. And the Trailblazers hosting the Cleveland Cavaliers. 3 games in the AJ tonight. Sherwood Park will host Lloyd out at the Sherwood Park Arena. Puck drop at 7. At 6:30, Brooks takes on Canmore. And you'll have Whitecourt up against Bonnyville. And the Edmonton Oil Kings on the road tonight out in Regina taking on the Pats. That one will get going at 6 o'clock. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, it's another edition of Who Is It Wednesday. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
There's 2 seasons in Alberta, winter and construction. During these days of traffic barricades and slower commutes, GS Construction reminds you those crews are improving our communities. They're rehabilitating and upgrading Edmonton's infrastructure all across the city. When you see the barricades and run into a traffic backup, remember the crews are there to be better. And
Connor, do you have me?
See what they're hiring.
You do?
On Indeed.com. GS Construction, laying the groundwork for your community since 1974.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
Your furnace is dead. It's time to replace it before winter crushes you. Legacy Heating and Cooling is practically there already.
Yeah, we're working in your basement, doing a replacement. The work is so earnestly building your legacy.
With no payments and no interest for 1 year, you gotta call Legacy. Replacing your dying furnace before it's too late, that's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Did you strike out on booking Network Travel's 2023 baseball trip to see the Jays play by the Bay in Seattle? Well, registration is now open for the 2024 trip next season. Want to fly in for the Sunday, July 7th game and return the same day? Or do you want to fly in Saturday morning and catch both games that weekend with an overnight stay? Either way, it won't be long before Network Travel has a full count for both options. So book today at networktravel.ca.
Universal Rewind is the go-to electric motor sales and service company for Western Canada's industrial sector. From aggregate to manufacturing and food processing to oil and gas and agriculture, they keep your operation running like a well-oiled machine, offering a lineup of trusted brands of new motors and expert repair services to maintain your operation at peak efficiency. Family owned and operated since 1975. Check out their new logo and website at universalrewind.com. Choose experience, expertise, and quality. Choose Universal Rewind.
Black Friday early deals are on now at Canadian Tire. Plus, tomorrow only, Triangle Rewards members collect 20 times bonus CT money when they spend $150 pre-tax. Value that adds up at Canadian Tire. Qualifying purchases, conditions apply.
There's nothing like having a little skin in the game to make things interesting. But when a little skin becomes more than you can afford to lose, it's time to take a break from sports betting. Set a budget and stick to it. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Portions of this hour are brought to you by eWell. From LED lighting audits and retrofits to design built distribution systems, eWell's services can give you the edge you need to impress your clients. EWEL.ca.
He's Alberta's sports authority and lead touchdown winner of his family's backyard flag football games. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We return game day on Sports 1440. Of course, the Oilers hosting the Kraken. We'll have lots more Oilers coverage, but it's Wednesday, and we like to have a segment called Who Is It Wednesday? We bring in somebody who had a really good pro career, whether it was as a player, somebody in management, broadcasting, and I like to talk about their story of success and tribulations and trials and everything else like that. And today we have a gentleman. It is rare to win 2 championships in your first 3 professional seasons. So think about that. You come in, you're a rookie, win a championship. Hey, this is going all right. 2 years later, you win a second championship. Not bad. Not bad at all. But think about it. And then the team gets rid of you after only 4 years. Kind of odd. Our guest today, who resides now in Edmonton, former defensive lineman for the Edmonton Elks, Randy Spencer joins us. Spencer, how you doing, my man? Good to see you.
Good. Thanks for having me.
I have to admit, as we were talking before, I was like, you had a really successful career, despite it not being that long when you consider a pro career, right? So take me back. So here's a young Randy Spencer. The Edmonton franchise, of course, had lost the Grey Cup at home in 2002. And then you come into a team that's obviously very good, right? It's hard to crack the lineup of a good team.
Very.
But you came in. Give me kind of your first impressions of young Randy Spencer, the rookie in 2003.
Well, coming into the locker room, we were at Concordia actually at that time. for training camp, and I walked in and you could smell the anger from the year before. And I was just coming out from university, so I didn't even pay attention. Got drafted up here first round, and then walked in that room, and I literally walked out, called my sister, and told her I was winning the Grey Cup that year.
Really?
That's on my life. Walked out of that locker room and said, "Yep, we're winning the Grey Cup this year."
Wow.
That's how pissed these guys were about 2002.
Well, because that was a game. Did you ever watch the 2002 Grey Cup?
No,
Kick a rouge, Randy. Kick a rouge.
Well,
I'm
I've
sure you
seen a
must
few
have
of those mistakes this year in college and everything. It's been funny.
But honestly, like, they had so many chances to just punt it through the end zone.
Yeah.
And rather than have to go for two, which cost them the game. But anyway, it's a long time ago. So there's that, like, anger and bitterness right away. And you're a young guy. You're a rookie. How intimidating was it, and how challenging was it to kind of gain respect of a very veteran group?
Honestly, for me, it was a different story because I've always played and been in rooms with older gentlemen, and as a leader, I didn't care what age I was. So I knew how to penetrate that right off the get-go, except for, when it came to, I think it was the first week when they were doing a go-away party for T-Ray, because T-Ray had just got let go.
Yes.
And then I was talking to, because I was between AJ Gass and Hervey, that's where I was sitting. And Singer Mobley, let's talk about the team alone. T-Von, Jason Moss, Ricky Ray. Inconceivable how many athletes, how many, Hall of Famer type players were on that team to begin with. But we were going out, have a few bevies, and they had a few limos out ready to go out, and they're like, "Oh, we know you're good, but not tonight." That was the only time I didn't get to go out with the boys, was for T-Ray's night. But outside of that, I was already in that circle because of the respect I'd given them. I put it on myself to be. Back then, we had kegs in the locker room, so
After games, I remember.
After games, right?
Yeah.
You were there.
I was there. Yeah.
So you know how to keep the vets happy, and I just parked myself right next to that keg. Poured every single one for them, and poured one for myself every now and then. And, that's the type of thing, you do as a rookie that puts you above the rest. And, coming next year, I was the only rookie that made it back from, the 8 that started. So
you're the only rookie in 04? Who is like a sophomore in 04?
Yeah.
Wow, I don't remember that. Interesting. Yeah. So what about, the challenge of becoming to pro football, right? Like, it's a big jump for lots of guys. I never want to say it was seamless for a player, because that it's kind of diminishing how hard they had to work to make it look seamless. But you came in and you were a pretty good impact guy right away. How'd you do it?
Honestly, I didn't. It was a transition to go from university to CFL. Pro anything. Like, you've just seen Ocho Cinco talk about it, of how there is no difference. People don't get that. Everyone thinks, oh yeah, NFL, CFL, is a huge difference. When you're in those trenches, it's no different. People would always come up here and say, oh, why are you up here? You should be down there. Why are you not? There is no difference. It's time and opportunity, we always say. But once I got a crack, the difference was the second you get an opportunity to put your hand in the dirt and show what you got, I showed it. And within 2 plays, they had to, notice that. And I had, tackle for loss. I think I got my first sack was against Danny Mack. So I showed right off the bat when I think it was an injury to Steve Charbonneau that went down, and I came in as relief for that. And from that point on, I was picked up off of my practice roster and then put right back on, and that was the end. Yeah.
Randy Spencer joins us. You mentioned getting into the group, and you had AJ Gass, and there's Signor Mobley and Terry Vaughn, and with Frito Ray, of course, he kind of come out of nowhere, right? and then became a really dominant quarterback. There was a lot of big personalities on that team, and I think in order that successful teams have lots of big personalities, guys, you kind of joked about, hey, I made sure to get noticed. You sit by the keg, veterans, you pour, hey, you need a beer? I'll pour you a beer. No problem. I'll be the bartender of the room. But there is that, like, who are the guys in practice that you went up against that made you better early on, where you're just like, damn, like this guy's
Dan
good?
Comiskey, for sure. Dan Comiskey, Bruce Beaton, those two were monsters. Chris Morris was also there, but most of the time I was on the opposite side. Right. And of course they were tackles. My Tim Princeton, Baker, like that O-line itself, Carlo Pinero, it was just a great O-line. I think Bruce Beaton was probably the biggest behemoth I've ever gone against. I was just, mitts, just like a bear.
Yeah, I tell you a story about Bruce. So Bruce Beaton went to Acadia. And so I was a young guy starting to cover the Elks. And I knew football, but I didn't know it very well. And I really struggled at evaluating the offensive line. Because when I'd be watching it, I would always gravitate to watch the ball. So, unless I'm recording the game, I'm not going to go back and then on camera, you don't see it. So turns out that my brother went to Acadia, and the hockey and the football guys usually didn't get along. But my brother mentions, hey, say hi to Bruce Beaton for me. I'm like, what? I didn't even know. So I was like, so I go introduce myself. Hey, Bruce, my brother Colin. He's like, oh my goodness. And then it broke a little bit of a barrier. And all of a sudden we're talking. And so I'd ask Bruce all these questions. He goes, well, you know what? Here, why don't you come over to my house? We'll watch video. So Bruce Beaton invites me over because I wanted to learn more. And so, being a young guy, whatever, I show up, I bring a case of beer. Well, first of all, I've never seen anybody drink a beer as fast as Bruce Beaton. He's just sitting there, and I'm just like, did I have a sip? And you got like 2 done. And then he went through the intricacies. Okay, watch this play, and he would rewind, and we'd watch it again, and he'd rewind. And that's how I learned a little bit.
Probably in silence too.
I didn't, trust me. I had a notepad, and I was just like, what about just listening and then asking questions? And but he was amazing. But he was one of the biggest men. Like, there's lots of big guys. Like Patrick Kabongo's a pretty huge human.
Yeah, but it's a different big.
Yes, like Bruce Beaton was like grizzly bear. But him and Doug Peterson might be the 2 biggest guys.
They were bears.
Yeah, like you're a big dude, but you seemed like an average guy beside Bruce Beaton.
I was I was strong, young, 6'3". You'd think that's, 6'3", 305 playing weight. That you'd think that was big, but I was pretty much the shortest amongst the whole group. Right? You had Raheem Abdullah, you had
Dorian Boose,
Dorian Boose, right? Everybody, like Albert Reese was 6'5". Every one of them were 6'5" minimum.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're like, hey, let's get the short guy. And you're like, I'm 6'3".
Yeah, seriously.
You played at 305?
Yeah, that was my playing weight pretty much the whole time.
So when you were done, how easy was it? Because I know some guys.
It's still work. It's still work in progress.
Because some guys,
I was 305, but I was still stronger than all of them.
Yeah,
I could still bench press 500 at 305. That was the difference. I had the record back then for 225. Even walking into Montreal, I did it 38 reps. So interior is different, right? A little more finesse on the outside.
So it's a little bit more brute strength. Yeah. Now, how many did Elmondo Sewell beat your record?
Well, I'm sure they beat it these days.
Oh,
that's
that
20 years ago,
man.
man.
That guy is a
kids
machine.
are putting up 55 reps now. Like I can't even mess with that. I'm serious. They're doing 50 plus reps.
But you did 225 38 times.
Yeah.
Damn. And how do you feel? Like, obviously, for an interior guy, like there's so much of that pushing motion a little bit, right? For bench, like bench press can probably help an interior D lineman. I'm not sure it's going to help a receiver. That fair?
Well, it helps every single position. You need to be able to bench anybody off of your chest. If you're playing against a DB, obviously you got to press. You have press against you, whichever. You have to get off your player. So it is something that everyone should test at. Are they going for brute strength, or continually repping? That is different for an interior D lineman or O lineman.
Now, Randy Spencer joins us. So you come in as a rookie, and there's lots of guys, and the Elks had a lot of fun off the field back then, and probably still now, but definitely back then. There was before social media, right? Guys would go. Who are your running mates out that you had a lot of fun with outside of football during those years?
Rashad Genty, Rob Grant, most of the rookies, Jabari Issa, Singor Mobley, AJ Gass, Ed Hervey. Like I'm a social guy.
Yeah. Well, you and Jed Roberts
Jed and I hooked up after.
Yes, I was going to say, because you guys didn't play together.
No.
But you guys have been like really, because you live in Edmonton now. You guys have been friends. And like there's times where people think you guys play together. But you actually,
everybody thinks that.
but you guys didn't play together.
No.
Jed, kind of tell us about how you connected with him.
Well, the funny thing is, I was at it was on a fan day, and he'd seen Jed's kind of that guy, like he knows everything that's going on with football, and I don't pay attention as much as he does.
Okay,
it was fan day, and he came out and he's like, "Hey, you're doing good," like, "Hey, good job, young buck," like, and I had his number, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't even know that before. So he's putting an extra eye on me on top of that. So making sure I made that.
Now, did you know that he was a former player?
At the second that I saw him?
Yeah.
No, I'd known the stories and legend stories about him, but that would have been the first time I'd met him was on fan day.
Okay.
When he was walking through the line and saying hello to all of us.
So he just walks through the line as a fan versus like a normal fan.
Oh yeah.
Jed's a class. Did he have the long hair back then when you first met him? So if you hadn't known the name, would you have thought?
Oh, I would have known.
Oh, you would have known? Okay.
Yeah. There's a presence.
Has he ever drawn a caricature of you?
Of me? I don't believe so, but I've seen many of them.
Dude, they were some of the most hilarious things I'd ever seen.
Yeah,
and he didn't matter who it was.
Oh, now he's gonna do one of me now that.
Well, he should. Like, Jed, buddy, like if he hasn't drawn one of you, like, are you really good friends? That's what I would wonder now. I'm surprised he hasn't. But for anybody who didn't know, basically, it had like the easel in the locker room with the big white, pages. And he would draw one of his teammates in these caricatures. Mm-hmm. And like Gizmo Williams was one of his victims a lot. Don Wilson, Chris Hardy were guys. And it was open for anybody to see. Malvin Hunter. And oh my goodness, like he was ruthless in some of those drawings. But of course, the teammates, like if you didn't have a sense of humor, then you're probably screwed.
Oh yeah.
Right. But he was pretty talented drawer. I was like, I remember I'm like, damn, that is really good.
He's a very talented person.
He could be a cartoonist for sure.
Yeah,
definitely. So we'll take a break. We are going to come back. I want to talk about the two championships. The when you mentioned it from day one in 2003 that you're like, okay, we're going to win. But I'm curious if you felt the same in 2005. We'll find out next with Randy Spencer on Sports 1440 Live on Oilers Nation YouTube.
There's two seasons in Alberta: winter and construction. During these days of traffic barricades and slower commutes, GS Construction reminds you those crews are improving our communities. They're rehabilitating and upgrading Edmonton's infrastructure all across the city. When you see the barricades and run into a traffic backup, remember, the crews are there to help. Drive slow and be patient. Help make our city better and join the GS Construction team. See what they're hiring for on Indeed.com. GS Construction, laying the groundwork for your community since 1974.
At Wolf GMC Buick, all Denali's are on sale. Terrain, Acadia, Sierra, Yukon, all Denali's are on sale. Get special 0% financing for 48 months on all remaining Sierra Denali half-tons because all Denali's are on sale. I'm not kidding. Every in-stock 2023 GMC Denali is on sale. All Denali's are on sale. Hurry into Wolf GMC Buick for the best selection. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy because all Denali's are on sale.
When you hand deliver a hamper to a family in need, everyone's hearts fill with joy. Be part of the Holiday Hamper Program, a charitable experience unlike anything in Edmonton. Sign up to adopt a local family, fill a hamper with food and gifts, then bring it to their door and see the difference you're making firsthand. With the rising cost of living impacting so many families, the need has never been greater. Sign up for the Holiday Hamper Program today at holidayhamper.ca.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit BIEENG.com.
A full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our Next Gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com.
Hey world, get ready to believe. At Oodle Noodle, we serve up world-class, worldwide flavors in our sweet, saucy, and fiery noodles. We believe in the power of nudes. We've got everything from saucy mac and cheese to sizzling pad thai to so many other unbelievable dishes sure to make you a noodle convert for life. You've got to taste them to believe it. Don't be a skeptic. The proof is in the noodles. Check us out at oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle. We believe in noodles.
There's nothing like having a little skin in the game to make things interesting. But when a little skin becomes more than you can afford to lose, it's time to take a break from sports betting. Set a budget and stick to it. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass. The clear choice for all your auto, residential, and commercial glass. Call 310 Glass or book now at crystalglass.ca.
The
.325. Who is it Wednesday? Our guest in studio, two-time Grey Cup champion with the green and gold, Randy Spencer, joined us, and he said, hey, no word of a lie. His first day out of training camp in 03, called his sister and said, we're going to win. And just because of the frustration from losing the prior year, and hey, obviously it worked out. So now let's fast forward. You win in 03.
Yeah.
04 is a decent year, but obviously not the same.
Should have won.
Yeah.
Let's not get to that Saskatchewan game. Remember the Titans. He did not pass that half point until they pulled that stupid play. And you know it.
Okay. So take I love it. I don't want to rip on. I don't want to.
I know. We'll move on to 05.
No. I want to talk about it because it's so you talked about the play. So take me back to kind of what's going through your mind at that juncture of the game.
What in the are you doing? Because we've never done that play. The fake to Bradley.
You had never practiced that?
We practiced.
Okay.
Maybe once.
Okay.
Maybe twice. It wasn't. No, this was not supposed to happen. It was not the timing at all.
Oh, how'd that go over then amongst the players?
We couldn't believe that they were doing it, especially on the defense. Because on the defense, they literally, I don't think Saskatchewan had passed half point of the field the whole first half.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
I don't think they passed half. It was literally feeling of remember the Titans. There was nothing they could do. And then all of a sudden you pull a trick play for what? Right before the end of the half.
Yeah.
Which gives them some momentum to think something can happen. From that moment, boom, shift in the game.
Momentum. It's real.
It's real.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have someone's foot, like your foot on someone's neck, and then you let up enough for them to breathe, they have a chance.
Yeah. So the frustration from that.
Yeah.
Did it carry over? Did you sense?
Oh, that was our frustration. Yeah.
Yeah.
We should have won that year too. That's the thing. That's where our mindset was.
Okay.
We would have won that year. So we were going for a 3-5. We were going on our streak. Yeah.
So you come to 05 and you get back in camp.
Yeah.
Was the 05 camp very then similar to you of your rookie year? Or was a difference because now before you were just kind of an observer of the frustration. Now you were living the frustration.
I lived the frustration, but we were more put together in the fact that we knew exactly what to do after doing it 2 years before. Right. And we weren't going to allow small issues to come into that not being a reality. There's too many vets that knew exactly how to win and to close out the year than to let it not be a reality.
Very well said, because a lot of people, they hear the word experience, and sometimes it's like, well, they got a lot of experience, so they'll figure it out. But can you kind of pinpoint sometimes, maybe even in those playoff games where you're like, if we didn't have the experience of winning 2 years earlier, the game might have turned at this moment? Is there any you can
in
pinpoint?
A game, it'd be hard to pinpoint in a game, but that turning point of that season was, people would say would be the blackout
in Toronto,
and how the team came together while we were away to make sure, things didn't go the opposite, right? So we only got closer as a team. When you go back to 2003 and you go to the Grey Cup week, we were playing Halo. Yeah, believe it or not, we were playing video games in the hotel room for the entire, that was 2005.
No,
yeah, 2003.
Because in 2003, you guys had rented out a special room.
Yeah, the special room we had in 2003, and we were there for the entire week. We didn't leave. There's a casino right across the street, bars you could have gone to. We just gelled as a team and no one left, right? That's how close we were. And so that closeness created something completely different. And that's what happened again once he came, that feeling coming into the blackout in Toronto.
Randy Spencer joins us. In that blackout, Dave Jamison's told some stories, like everything was shut down, right? Like there's not a lot of people here. They're trying to struggle to even get cash, to get guys per diems and everything. Was there not a piano in the lobby or something in a few
for Dorian Booth to play?
Was it Booth that played?
Well, he's the one that always played the piano.
And now he'd like to think he was a singer. Was he? He
was a great singer.
Was a great singer.
He
was a gospel singer. Was he not?
He could sing. He could play. He was multi-talented.
And if you don't mind, I do want to kind of discuss your former teammate, because he was a very talented player.
Very.
Extremely talented player.
He was one of my I had him with on the road half the time.
And unfortunately, he's passed it here a few years ago. He passed away essentially living on the streets of Edmonton. But I know, Randy, and I remember reading an article many years ago how you would walk downtown on the streets at night trying to find him.
Yeah.
Can you kind of, is it okay to talk about that?
Oh,
just kind of, what went on there?
Yeah, we didn't realize he was still in town. And I was out, I think I was at, it was either a golf tournament or I was at the alumni room where someone had told me he was still in town. And I said, no, you need to find him. Like, it's like the second he's there, tell me. And I was in a doctor's appointment and I got a phone call and I just literally walked out, drove right downtown, found him right there and brought him home. That's the first time. And then he stayed with us for a while, not to get into too much, but anytime that he wasn't there, I'd go, okay, where is he? I'd have to go find him, take a look and kind of look for him.
Because he never drank coffee, never did any sort of drugs. I know he kind of got hooked a little bit on intravenous drugs, but in conversations with him, like I know sometimes it's too easy. Everybody just assumes, a pro football player, it's obviously CTE. Mental health issues. What in your conversations near the end? What did you kind of come away with thinking? What steered him the wrong direction?
That was already. It has been proven that that's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know where the legal stuff on that is and where I can even get into talking about that, but I know I did secure the brain sample that they used to go test for all of that at the time, and it's probably closing up right now if it's not closed already. But definitely a completely different person. If you would have met him from day one to where you met him in the end, it wasn't him. So,
well, I remember back when I first started, I had the show, The Green and Gold Report, and I would bring guys in studio similar to this. And the show was late at night, though, at 11 p.m. But Jim at Blue Sky Limos would go pick guys up, and the players were great. They'd come in, and Dorian was one of the guests that I had. And I remember him talking about his whole life. And you know what? He was super excited to be here. His kids were young at that time.
Yeah.
And he talked about it was kind of the first time away from his kids. So that was hard on him and everything. But he was a very spiritual man from what I remember in our conversations about him. And it's interesting to see just kind of how a complete 180 and how it goes, and obviously the CTE. So when you see a former teammate like that and how quickly it changes, and you played a similar position, and you played a position where 60, 80, however many snaps a game.
Yeah.
And you're 300 pounds. The guy you're going up against is 300 pounds. Are you ever concerned that, long
For myself?
Yeah.
No. I don't know if that's crazy for myself, but I don't know. I've always been a studious person. So I keep my brain very active, you know, learning different languages, speaking French, speaking German, whatever it is. Ja, ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch, mein Freund, ja.
Oh, wow, look at you. I have no idea. What did you say? Gregor, you look fantastic. I think that's what I heard.
Yeah.
So how long have you been learning German?
Oh, ever since I met my wife. So that's how that works.
Your wife's German. Okay.
She's from Germany, yeah.
Nice. So how fluent are you, would you say? On a level of 1 to 10, where would your German rank?
Speaking it?
Yeah.
Drinking or not drinking?
Both.
Oh, well, it's same like French. Like I grew up, I spoke French. I was completely bilingual. I got my French math. Basically take one course in university and I got my whole minor in French. I haven't spoken French for 20 years other than when you need to speak it.
Yeah.
I relate that to the same as German. I can understand anyone that anything would tell me.
Yes.
To speak it as quickly or understand. No.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I graduated J.H. Picard French Immersion High School. My son takes French now. And so I can have an entry-level conversation with people.
Yes.
But if someone speaks French to me, I understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
But then when I speak back to them, it's like half French. I don't throw in an English word because I've forgotten what the word is at that point. So.
And then mix that with another language, and you're throwing a third language in with the second and the first. So it just gets confusing.
So I know you're, and I want to get into in our next segment. I do want to get into because I remember what you did in university. This what you and your classmates, a few of you were working on back then.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about that because I know you've always been a pretty intellectual guy. So you study. I'm sure you've studied about CT. So in your readings, have you learned the more active I keep my brain, the better it's going to be?
I just figure, I'm a big proponent of psilocybin and neuroconnectiveness and just keeping my brain continually active. Like I'll get an app on my phone and I'll do it 3 times a day. There's programs on there that I will, do math, do English, do memory games, and just continually keep my brain active. I don't know. That's just the way I've always functioned, that if you use it, it'll stay.
I can see that. That makes a lot of sense. I want to take the break because I want to talk back and I want to go deep into it. And because, you got the university degree, but I don't want to give away a hint, but I'll just tell people what you worked on in university/college is one of the most fascinating things ever. And it's something that the average guy, like I remember you telling me this story many years ago and I was kind of like, pardon? So we'll get into that when we return with Randy Spencer on Sports 1440 live on Oilers Nation YouTube.
Winter weather is hard on your vehicle. Help keep it in top shape with Pennzoil Ultra Motor Oil from Jiffy Lube. Oil changes on your schedule and 25 bonus air miles with your Shell Go Plus app. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving.
It's simply the best time to buy. The Black Friday event is on right now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. You'll save up to a game-changing $7,500 off your purchase or finance as low as 1.49%. Choose from a winning selection of 2023 cars and SUVs like the sleek S60 or the roomy and comfortable XC60s and 90s. Black Friday is on now at Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Visit 1205 101st Street Southwest or chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com.
A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Andy Akel at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada with sports and entertainment properties including the Alberta Junior Hockey League, Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, and the Hockey Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. A new state-of-the-art entertainment center is set to open in Nisku, which will feature 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and restaurant with a viewing area.
Mr. Rooter visits the dentist.
Well, you're all done there, Mr. Rooter. You can spit in the sink.
Hey, Doc, you got a clog here.
Oh, no.
Don't worry about it. I got it. It looks like a long piece of floss with something tied to the end. Why don't you check it out?
Oh, why? It's a birthday card.
You didn't think I'd forget you, did you?
Mr. Rooter, you're the kindest, weirdest man.
To have the plumbing cavity in your heart filled, trust only one man, Mr. Rooter.
First Round is Edmonton's NFL headquarters. Get in the game and watch NFL football this season at First Round, and you'll have a chance to win a trip to your favorite NFL city to watch a game in person next season. And the hits keep on coming with food and drink specials, big screen TVs, and more. Catch the Pro Bowl brunch every Sunday, Monday Night Football, and head in Thursdays for your chance to win an NFL replica helmet. NFL at First Round. Burgers, beer, sports. Downtown West Edmonton Mall and at 1strnd.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We've continued developing tools and are excited to announce our newest design, battery-powered nut runners. 4 models from 500 to 3,000 foot-pounds with more on the way. Learn more at cantork.com.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on. Who is it Wednesday? Our guest, 2-time Grey Cup champion. Of course, won in his first and third seasons in the CFL with the green and gold. Randy Spencer joins us. And before he came to Edmonton, he was at Weber State. And for your senior project, so you got this is back in like 2002.
Yeah.
Right. So we're talking 21 years ago. You and 3 of your classmates, you created like this whole and it was never done before, a whole 3D version of the campus that people could use as a recruiting tool.
Yeah. And you could walk through every building existed, trees. We actually took pictures of, we walked up to each building, took pictures of the brick that was on each building, mapped that onto the computer design. So every building looked exactly the same within the computer.
So were you majoring in computer design then?
Architectural and design graphics.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so have you used that in your post-playing career?
Actually, as a foreman for a steel company, I could read prints like that, pretty easily. So the architecture came in very handy. Mechanical drafting skills and those types of things. Those have always helped,
It's it's kind of fascinating to me because when you make that project, obviously it's a school's property and propriety. So, they use it to recruit. You joke that you're like, I got a copy of it somewhere. I don't know where it is to kind of see. But you look at the technology. We're talking 21 years ago of what you had to build then and then what you see now. Like, are you kind of a tech guy?
I used to be a very tech guy. I was a massive nerd. I still am, I guess. I even was on the robotics team back in in high school, and went to Toronto, built a robot, did that whole thing. Actually got the Radio College of Canada award of excellence for achievement in technology. So
by building a robot.
Yeah. So it was a long time ago.
Did your robot have a name? What was?
I don't even remember. This is a long time. This I was 16. So, geez, yeah.
So you always been someone of a scholar then.
I wouldn't say scholar. I excel at everything I would love to do. If it was, my dad was a teacher, so he wouldn't call me a scholar because if it came to science, certain subjects, geography, it was like a C.
Okay.
I came to computer science. I had A+.
Okay.
Right.
So what you're passionate about, you can
What I'm
definitely
passionate
dig in.
about, I'll kill all day.
Now, you went to Weber State, but like you got recruited by Colgate, a few other Ivy League schools. So obviously you had the marks to go there. What was it about Weber State that made you decide to want to go there?
I love the mountains. It was beautiful, for one. It was beautiful. It was far away. It was close to Vegas, 6-hour drive. It was close to LA. There was a lot of opportunity to get far away from Ontario, from Ottawa, like something that was just completely different for me. It just spoke to me. And there was a few other Canadians there too at the time.
Okay.
It was a Canadian hub. There was about 8 other Canadians on the team. So I wouldn't have been alone. And I don't know if you know Tom Stacharek, but that name, he used to recruit heavily out of Alberta.
Okay.
Sumpa's brothers went down there.
Right.
There's always been a connection back to Weber. And so it was the right place for me.
Then you came to the CFL. We talked about the 03, but we talked a little bit about 04, but we haven't got to 05 yet. And so now you're an established player on that team. You're not a rookie guy. You've established yourself. You become a leader in the room. You had the disappointment of 04. Also, Ricky Ray comes back.
Yeah.
Something that can't be overlooked in 05, right? And not that Jason Moss, it's kind of unique to have two quarterbacks that good, and you needed both of them.
Yes.
In the 05 game. But take me back to that Grey Cup game. Right, it was one of the most exciting Grey Cups ever. It's back and forth. Right, your coach forgot what the score was at one point, but still, it was back and forth. How are the nerves when you're in a game like that?
Play by play, man. It's hard to explain how you don't really focus on anything else but what you're supposed to be doing at the point, right? Like people, it's loud, things are going on all over the place, but you have to be hyper focused to pay attention to what you need to see, what you need to do to actually function and win the game. So if you're looking in the crowd, you're out of the game, right? Like anytime I'm coaching and I see my kids turn around and look for mom or dad, you're not focusing, right? You have to know exactly what's going on at every single point in a game like that to be able to function and have an impact, right? So.
And as a coach, because you're coaching now at the Huskies, how can you help players become more focused?
It's ongoing, every step, every time you're coaching kind of thing. Every practice, every drill, you have to really maintain and preach why you have to keep focused. And once you get into a game and you're in an actual playoff game or anything, you'll know the difference with a player that is focused and one's that's not.
What's the difference that you can notice right away from a player in a playoff game who's focused and one who isn't?
Definitely walking into the game, if you see a player directly go to the crowd, their eyes shift directly to the crowd, they're not worried. There's a level that you can actually say where you can be loose enough. You want a player to be loose enough that they don't have to over focus.
Okay.
Right. There's a few that can do that. Right. But to not pay attention to every cue in the game, you can tell when a player checks out, especially when things go the wrong way. It gets worse.
Yeah. Now, the 05 team wins, and that's kind of really, 2015 team was very competitive. Obviously, they won. We're very deserving of it. But after the 05 team, it started a run that it wasn't good in Edmonton, I think, to put it mildly. There was a real quick of just elimination of many of the core players on that team. You had played in the league for 4 years, Randy. You were a veteran player, but a young veteran, and you even were part of it. Can you kind of take me back to that? How frustrating was it to see so many of the core players? Danny Machoji just kept wanting, this guy's a voice in the room. We got to get rid of him.
Yeah.
From an outsider, that's what I saw. How did it feel inside?
A lot of people don't. I've told these stories, and I won't tell them today, but the dismantling of that team was purposeful. It was disgusting to watch. And there was absolutely, it came at the time with the salary cap. Right. And so obviously decisions need to be made. There were a bunch of us, myself included, that said, hey, we'll take pay cuts to remain Eskimos. Elks.
Yeah.
Right? I don't identify as an elk, so I'm sorry. But that's what it was. We would take the pay cut, and that wasn't an option. You know, it wasn't about that. And that's where the dismantling started. And it went downhill for a few years until Ed Hervey came back.
Yeah.
And when Ed Hervey came back, he brought back what it is to be an Eskimo. And then
it's all good.
It's just habit. So
yeah,
it's on my ring, so you can agree with me there.
Yeah.
So that's where once he left again, started to go down
100%
once again.
Yeah.
And that's where you keep losing it when you get people that are not ingrained into the system and understand what it actually means. Wants not to be, that's what it is.
And because if you look back, you mentioned it was purposeful dismantling. Was it Danny Machocha tried to get rid of any player who was a leader? Like, because
Guaranteed.
Like a big character person.
Guaranteed. It was something about my voice needs to be heard the most, and if anybody can usurp it, they're gone. It did not make any sense, and I guarantee I could make phone calls to 5 other players right now, put them on the phone, and tell you it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Right. But that's just what it is. It's learning for everybody. Unfortunately, when you're a player, you don't have much say in it at that level. So. Yeah.
Have you ever wanted, like you're coaching now with the Huskies, have you ever wanted to coach higher? Do you have interest in that?
Not really. Honestly, I love the level that I'm at just to help young men be, growing from boys to men and actually give them an opportunity to understand where they're going with football, what they can do with football, how they can, mature for their life itself. It's more important because that's a lot of the guidance that gets lost when you get to the next level.
One other guy, there's lots of characters that you've encountered in your time with the green and gold. You go back to 2003, maybe the biggest character, arguably one of the biggest sporting names in Edmonton sports history, Joe Moss.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Joe Moss story?
Sure, they've all been told. It's the favorite ones are always the wrestling matches. And
did you have a chance to wrestle the champion?
I didn't wrestle the champion. I was always a spectator. I was always a spectator.
Didn't want a shot at the title?
I did not want a shot. I never went in for it. I always watched. And
what was the best wrestling match you recall with Joe? Who was like the best one of your teammates?
Oh, these were always at the end. Comiskey, these were fun, man.
Dan Comiskey,
I have to think who would have been the best, but I can't pin it to anyone. It was just nothing but laughs and smiles.
Wow.
So, yeah.
What about your first encounter of Joe? Because Dave
coming in the first time meeting Joe, coming into the locker room, he told you exactly what to do, where to go, when to do it. You didn't even get a word in edgewise, and you're like, "What is going on here?" You're literally, who is this guy, and why is he telling me it's like you're worse than my mother right now? It's like boom, boom, boom. No, go this way. Yeah, you're not. Go. Yeah, and you're like, all right, you're in charge, and it was awesome.
And him singing.
The singing was next level.
Yeah, because to me it was Dave Jameson has told me the stories many times. Like guys who didn't know what was coming, and they're just like, "What is happening right now?"
Yeah,
like he was such a character and added. Like it's hard. Can you explain what Joe's presence added to the team?
Pure happiness at any point. He just, no matter what situation. Thankfully, we won a lot.
Yeah.
So there wasn't that much, pain going on. But he was always in a great mood and always positive about everything. So
he was so funny and he had a really good sense of humor.
Yeah.
Right. And Joe was a guy who he wanted you to chirp him back.
Oh yeah.
Right. Like he didn't.
That was the fun part of it.
Yeah. He didn't want to be treated any different.
No.
Right.
Yeah, everybody would pick on Joe for fun because he wanted to be, you know, he like included him in the razzing of everything else.
Yeah.
So you would put your laundry bag the wrong way, like toss it on it. Hey, what are you doing? You know, like you come around and like you know better what to do, but you just be messing with him because.
But the one thing was though, he really took his job seriously, right? Like you did. That was you could joke around a lot of things except when it was time to work.
Yeah. Don't get in his way.
What about Dwayne Mandruzak? He might be the one guy that could challenge Joe for like, you know, definitely seniority.
Oh yeah,
for sure. But how he ran the room and his importance to the team.
So many things have been done wrong in the last couple decades, and that's one of them. But yeah, I saw him just a few months ago at a golf tournament, and every time I see him, it's a pleasure. And he ran that place better than, you know, he knew more about the team than anybody else knew, and will know, and has ever known.
He should write a book. Dwayne, if you're listening, I've said this for years. I would gladly, if you're not a writer, you put your name on, I would help you do it because his stories from so many decades would be unreal.
Unreal. Yeah, you can sit there and put out any football number and he'd tell you a story about it.
Of all the different guys.
That played in it. Yeah.
Who are some of your favorite teammates as far as characters that you think back, you know, for the 4 years you were in Edmonton?
Raheem Abdullah was hilarious.
Well, he used to come in with that like those bright red velour, like he was like an 80s rapper.
He is awesome. He was hilarious. You know, Swack was hilarious.
Alfred Payton.
Yeah. Alfred was just that was the first guy. It was 2003, and he would come to practice. He wouldn't stretch. We'd all be stretching. He's like, cheetahs don't stretch. He'd just be walking around and just, you know, snapping his fingers, and then all of a sudden it's time to play. He'd just go. I'm like, what? And this guy is way older than you, right? He's been around forever. It's like, is this just a vet move or what? No, he never stretched. He was just pure athlete. Yeah.
He loves his cars too.
Yeah.
And you don't ever touch his car. That was
never rode in one though.
You never rode in one of his cars?
Not in one of his.
You never got the invite, eh?
No, it wasn't at that time, he wasn't the one to come out and party. So
okay.
Yeah.
No, so he was the work, church, and home guy at that stage of his career. Right. When you watch the games now, give me your thoughts. Montreal, Jason Moss, head coach, is there. Danny Machocha, funny enough, is the GM. So you're probably torn.
Very torn.
Very torn. And then you've got the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, right?
Yeah.
You know, when you look at a 4-year run of a really competitive team, you probably relate to that. How much of an advantage does Winnipeg have just from an experience standpoint?
It's a massive advantage when it comes to experience. At every point where anything goes wrong, or, you know, the adversity that comes up in a game, if you have experience on that, you don't flinch as much as the other team, right? Where the other team is trying to figure out how to navigate those hard parts of a game. You've already been through it 3 years in a row, most likely. Right. So, I'm torn between that game because being an alumni there and then Jason being the head coach is, if Danny wasn't there, I'd be going for I'd be going for Montreal.
That's fair, man.
But, yeah.
Until we get now, you had to retire prematurely because of your shoulder injuries, right?
Yeah.
You had 3 surgeries on it. How long did it take for you to get over missing football?
Oh, that took it took longer than I anticipated, honestly. It took probably about 5 years, but after 5 years, that was it. I was done.
Like, what was the hardest part during those 5 years of like, was it just, okay, I think and I can play? Like, was it just,
I knew, because
there's very few things.
Yeah.
No, physically. No, I knew you could play, but you know, like your shoulder, would it hold up or not? Is it like, obviously the camaraderie everybody always talks about, but is it also that there's very few things in life where you can just flat out, you know, exert yourself physically like that. And that's competition where you just, you know, whatever job you're doing, it probably is not going to scratch that itch.
Well, yeah, it's the transition of football, life after football is what gets you because it's not that you don't plan for life after football, but then it's having the same amount of drive to achieve something that you had before. So to achieve something that was so impossible, will that exist again in some other shape or form? And that's the tough thing to actually figure out how to find something that you didn't choose to find. Football just came. It's like, oh no, I'm going to be this. And you knew it and you went after it and you did it. And it was like, I was the only kid in Ottawa to get a football scholarship my year because I said so. It wasn't because I was more skilled. I said I was going to do it. So when you unlock that key of like success for yourself, and it seems so trivial, it seems so easy, but you go and do that and you can multiply. That's why they love recruiting, sports guys for jobs and things, because you have that drive to finish and, complete something and you're competitive, but you have to be able to find something that motivates you just as much. And what motivates you just that much, to get you to do the things that most people won't do, like go running 5K every day just to stay in shape.
Yeah.
Do those things that people won't do. It's like, how many reports do I need to write to get this? It doesn't translate the same. Like, I got to wake up and figure out how to email better than somebody. Like, it's just a whole different world to navigate. So when you're missing, that ease of loving something every day, that's the transition you're going through.
Lastly, when you go to Commonwealth, can you enjoy the games? Like, are you a good fan, or are you still like a coach where you're analyzing the play?
I never analyze.
No?
No.
You just watch?
I'm just there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do your kids like football?
Yeah, they love going to the games and seeing the fireworks and eating mini donuts.
Oh, hey, it's good kids, man. That's smart. Fireworks and mini donuts, eh? Did they see a picture or two of Dad in the alumni room?
They didn't get it for quite a few years, and they'd be like, "Why are you signing autographs? Like, who do you think you are?" Yeah, it just confused them because I never spoke about football at home or anything. Like, it's not, I have 3 daughters. Not that 3 daughters changes anything, but really and truly, when football came on Sunday, they're like, "What are you watching? Can we change the channel?" It was like, okay. And then they're like, "Oh," and then they coach football, and then they're starting to get it. And then doing fan days and doing autographs, we're like, "Okay, I get it. Okay, you were somebody."
Okay.
Like, I'm not going to tell anyone. You're nobody to me.
None of them are playing.
Yeah.
Do they play sports? Are they athletic at all?
They have the gene, I'd say. We all do taekwondo together.
Oh,
as a family. But yeah, that's it so far. I did soccer for about 15 years, but I didn't start football till 12. So I never believed in, pushing kids to start too young. Live your life. I love the fact that my kids can go out to the park and go for walks, and they're not stuck to the device all day. They're seeing a different part of life, and then once they get stuck into sports, and I have to drive everywhere, which I'm kind of delaying.
You'll enjoy it though. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
You can coach them.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah. Well, hey, you know what? You can put them in. There's touch football, flag football, tackle football.
Oh yeah, my youngest loves football.
Okay.
She wants to do it.
Oh well, there you go. All right. What position would she be? Do you think?
I have no clue.
No.
Tank.
She's a tank. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So
She's
good
about a head
linebacker,
taller
maybe
than anybody else. in her
Oh,
class.
so she'll be crushing it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like it. Randy, thanks so much for coming in studio. It's great to catch up with you and continued
always.
success.
Thank you.
That is Randy Spencer, our Who Is It Wednesday guest. When we come back, Mike Rupp will join us on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Let's get to Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. And coming up this hour, opportunity to win a brand new furnace courtesy of Legacy in Help Your Neighbor.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day, the Oilers in action tonight down at the Ice District, taking on the Kraken. This one gets going at 6:30. Elsewhere around the league, the Flyers take on the Hurricanes, Ducks up against the Avs, and the Canucks hosting the New York Islanders. Game tonight at midnight is the NHL Global Series from Stockholm, Sweden at the Avicii Arena. The Red Wings will take on the Ottawa Senators in the association. The Raptors in action, hosting the Bucks. Tip-off on that one set for 5:30. 3 games in the AJ. Canmore takes on Brooks. Sherwood Park will host Lloyd out at Sherwood Park Arena. That's a 7 o'clock start. And Whitefort up against Bonnieville. And the Oil Kings beginning a road trip there in Regina to take on the Pats. That one gets going just after 6. Coming up in hour number 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by former NHLer and NHL Network analyst Mike Rupp, as well All Elite Wrestling superstar Nick Wayne, plus another edition of 5 Questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Looking to tackle your backyard projects with power and precision this fall? Look no further than Kubota compact tractors. Experience the perfect blend of compact size and unbeatable value with Kubota. Right now, take advantage of financing as low as 0% for up to 84 months and save up to $1,500 on select models. Plus, as the temperature drops, get ready for Alberta winters with confidence with Kubota Performance Match snowblowers, sweeper, and blades. Visit Edmonton Kubota today for details.
Ding, ding. The champ is back in the ring going toe-to-toe with the best flock and chicken wing special in town. Only at the Canadian Brewhouse. A minimum 1 pound order ain't no problem for the champ when they're only 69 cents all day Wednesday and all day Sunday. 2 days to enjoy one unbeatable offer on wings. With featured wing flavors of the month, Wednesday and Sundays just became a very serious wing thing. Both days, all day. 69 cents only at the Canadian Brewhouse.
How do we do it? Well, at Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we invest. Our money and time goes right back into technology and training, and it's all designed to get you back into shape. We invest in people, the people who really care, and they understand how your body works. Then they combine their experience, training, and skills to work with you to help you solve your issues, be it pain in the back, neck, arm, shoulder, heel, literally head to toe. Leading Edge Physiotherapy, always taking new patients because we keep fixing the old ones. Life shouldn't hurt. Find us at leadingedgephysio.com.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
Rodeo clowning felt like an exciting opportunity. Boy, was I ever wrong. The bulls, so predictable. But you know what's exciting and unpredictable? PlayAlberta.ca. I can bet on any sports game, play online casino games anytime, and buy lottery tickets anywhere.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today and get over $100 in welcome bonuses. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
What's better than getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee? Getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee for only $4 plus tax. It's your favorite McDonald's breakfast for less. What's better than that? For limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. Roads can be dangerous. Accidents happen. If you are injured, Leading Edge experts work with and, more importantly, for you. You don't have to go where your insurer tells you to go. 6 locations in the Edmonton region. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Just after 4 o'clock. How are you? Welcome back to the third Wednesday edition of the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 Live, Oilers Nation YouTube. As always, presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca, and coming to you live from the eWell studio, EWEL.ca. Hey, trust me, they'll add a little juice to the show for all your electrical needs. Think eWell, EWEL.ca. And like you, they are massive, massive sports fans, and they're hoping the Oilers can maybe get on a run here. We will see if they're ready to get on a winning streak. Now, let's talk a little hockey. By the way, big thanks again to Randy Spencer for coming in studio. Really good insight. Love the passion from Randy. You can see why he's a successful player. Love his insight and how he explained the big challenge of just, being so passionate about something and then trying to find that same passion post-career. It's different. No question about it. Let's get around the NHL now, brought to you by McDonald's. What's better than getting McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee? Well, how about getting both for only $4 right now? McMuffin, medium roast coffee, $4 only at McDonald's. Start your day right. Mike Rupp, former NHLer, ace analyst on the NHL Network, is also color analyst for the Pittsburgh Penguins, former two-time Stanley Cup champion. Joins us. Rupper, how you doing?
I'm good. What's going on today?
Oh, there's lots happening, man. Hey, we got our technical issues fixed, so that's great. We can hear you online now. I can see you. It's fantastic. What is going on, Rupper, is unfortunately I am, and you as a follically challenged gentleman like myself who prefers to just look good without hair, mine has to start growing out for the first time in 21 years, and it's going to look awful. So I'm wondering, do you have any advice on the best way to wear the Costanza?
I have no advice on how to wear it, but I can't wait to see it. That's going to be incredible. Just own it. Just own it, man. You just own it, and then that's half the battle.
Hey, fake it till you make it is what you're saying. Okay, I like that idea. What about the Washington Capitals? Are they faking it, or is this legit? What is going on here?
I literally watched, I don't know what the number was. Their start of the season, like, I'm just going to be frank, it stunk. Like, I was like, this team is awful. But I was watching their games. I'm like, this is really bad. Like, they look very, very bad.
Yeah.
And then what are they now? 7-1-1 in their last 9. Now I'm starting to be like, all right, are these guys for real? And here's why I think this is sustainable to some degree. Ovi is on pace right now for 25 goals. Okay. Yeah. He ain't going to get 25 goals. He's going to get more than that. If he's healthy, he's still going to be pushing it. We know this guy can get hot. But he's on pace for 25 right now. TJ Oshie has 1 assist, and that's his only point in 14 games. They're without Nick Backstrom, and their power play is at 8% over the last however many games. And that's been when they're winning. It was actually worse when they were losing. With all that being said, they're 7-1-1 in the last 9. So they're getting good goaltending, but it makes me think, I don't know, I'm always, you could argue it both sides of it, but I always think when you're winning, despite all of these things not going for you, that's a good sign for your hockey club. They're finding ways to win. They're getting points. I think this might be a playoff team this year.
Well, you know what? Good for them. I give them, because I don't know if anybody picked the Capitals to be a playoff team this year. I went back and I was looking at some prognostications, and obviously I made quite a few errors that don't look good. Like Boston, I thought wasn't going to be a playoff team. What an idiot on that one. So, but nobody had the Capitals, and I know they had a lot of injuries last season. But they're getting older, and then Backstrom goes down. And it hasn't impacted them at all. And as you mentioned, it's not like Ovi's carrying them. He's on some ridiculous pace, right? Oshie hasn't done much. And I'm not saying he's going to be a 60-point guy, but he's going to be more than a 1-assist guy, as you said. And their power play can't be that bad this long. The only concern is, like, what did you think of that hit on Kuznetsov last night?
The hit on Kuzi, I mean, it's, I don't know. I don't know. I always find that these types of hits. You're talking. That was the one that went up high on Kuzi, right?
Yes. Yeah. Hit him right in the head.
Hit him right in the head. Yeah. I mean, we don't want those. You want to get rid of those. I feel like the drive-by clippings are the thing that you want to get rid of. If you're going to hit a guy, go through his body, and I actually think that what we've seen over the last few years, as far as Department of Player Safety too, it's like, I think that whole point of emphasis, we used to always say principal point of contact, and a lot of the terminology I think we use, even as analysts and fans use, is not what they use still now. Right. It's changed, it's evolved. If you go through a guy's body and you have incidental head contact, you can get, like, sometimes you get away with it. You know what I mean? But when that's the tough part, because when you're going to go hit a guy, we're always taught, we see it every night in the game. I feel like I'm taking an angle to cut off where you're going. But by doing that, and if a guy tries to avoid a hit, and that's not talking necessarily the Kuznetsov one, you're going to get a piece of him. When you get a piece of him, that's where there's a problem, right? So, yeah, I think doing any kind of drive-bys, clipping is where you're going to get in trouble.
Mike Rupp joins us from the NHL Network. Rupper, I want to get your thoughts here in Edmonton. Of course, some significant changes over the weekend. They get rid of Dave Manson and head coach Jay Woodcroft. They bring in Chris Knobloch and Paul Coffey, who does have 1 year of junior A coaching experience, not a lot. And I'm still not sold on how long he's going to be here as an assistant. He's also an advisor to the owner, which is, I think, first time in NHL history they got an assistant coach who's an advisor. What'd you make of the move? And what do you make of the whole situation surrounding the Oilers right now?
I mean, I don't think that Jay Woodcroft is a bad coach. I think everything we heard out of there, Connor said that, he didn't lose the room. I think he's a good coach. He's going to get picked up again somewhere else. It's just in our sport and in pro sports, sometimes you just get to this point where it feels like what can give, and usually it's the coach's job, and it's unfortunate. So, you see this happen. I don't think that this team they're not dead yet. You know what I mean? Like, they're not. There's still plenty of time. I don't think that they've dug themselves a hole that they cannot get out of, but it's going to be kind of chipping away at this, right? And, you usually get a bump with a new coach. And I think this is I think the other night, Leon Draisaitl looked like he was on a mission in that game. He looked great. I did a breakdown on him yesterday. Not just when he had the puck, like to get the puck, like he was on a mission, right? So with the star power there, it's just about just cleaning areas of the game up, not shooting yourself in the foot, and let's just take it as cliche as it is, one game at a time. And then the best thing about, I think, the division and that conference, for that matter, nobody's really running away with anything. You know what I mean? Like, you got a couple top-end teams that they're good to go, but it's an absolute dogfight for everybody else. You can say the same thing with the Central Division. I mean, right now, I was saying the biggest staples are Dallas and Colorado. Dallas is the only staple right now. You've got Colorado, Winnipeg, Nashville, Arizona, St. Louis. I mean, it's all up for grabs. Like, we're not even 20 games in. Like, there's still a lot of road left. Same thing in that Pacific. So just keep picking away at it. You got to get better goaltending, and if they do, I think that this team will be able to battle their way back into that playoff picture.
The Anaheim Ducks are a team that's, I think like Washington, they are surprising a lot of people early on. They being the comeback kid. Some will say, okay, it's not sustainable. You can't keep having 2-goal, comebacks in the third period. But that's what they're doing. The interesting thing is, though, they've done it without Trevor Zegras. He's basically, he's kind of being a passenger offensively. Right now, he's banged up. But what do you make of just what Cronin's done early on in Anaheim? And, like the addition of Radko Gudas really seems to have been a huge addition for that team.
I agree. I think Gudas has been great. You talk about just, I know Alex Killorn was dinged up and he's getting back in too. So I think that they're going to need to rely and lean on some of these guys who've been around for a while. And you got Ryan Strome. But these young kids, man, they're fun. They're so fun to watch. I looked at a goal the other night. I think it was against, was it against San Jose? But anyways, I'm watching this play and it starts with that Mintnikov. And so here you go. You got a 19-year-old kid who passes it to Mason McTavish, a 20-year-old kid who passes it to Leo Carlson, an 18-year-old who puts it back to the 19-year-old and they score. Made it look so easy. And I'm like, this team is loaded. And that doesn't even get into Frankie Vetrano, what he's doing. I mean, they're fun to watch. I think we're getting to the point now where I think out east here, a lot of times, we always talk about the East Coast bias. The Edmonton Oilers over the last number of years, it's like must-watch TV because of the obvious. Connor and Leon, what was going on out there. But there's a lot of teams that people in the East don't pay attention to. I would say, and I have been saying to the East Coast NHL fans, start paying attention to the Anaheim Ducks. And you know what? Start paying attention to the Arizona Coyotes too. Like, they're so fun. Like they're fun. They're super talented. They're trying to figure this out on the fly. And right now they're coming back in games at a record pace. We just saw it today. Was that they set an NHL record for most comeback wins through the first 15 games of a season. That's not always the recipe for good sustaining success, but they're doing it right now, and they're fun to watch. And Mason McTavish is just an absolute stud in the way he kind of leads this team as a 20-year-old.
Wow, I've been really impressed. Cronin's a guy who's paid his dues for a long time in the minors. A lot of people were wondering, what's Pat Verbeek doing here? Well, clearly it looks like the right decision. He's got that team. They compete hard, like they don't give up, and sometimes that can be a really infectious trait, right? Like they believe they're never out of it, and the coach doesn't give them an excuse to ever think they're out of it. Now, obviously, the coach will be the first to tell you we don't want to be down 2 goals as often as they are, and then have to come back. But give them credit. I also think it's a good sign of today's game, Rupper, that what it used to be, if you were down 2 goals, like good night in the era that you played, you're like, oh, we got a 2-goal lead. Let's go get a coffee. This game is over. Right. And thankfully, it's not that way anymore. And I think the Ducks, a young team, I don't know if they're a playoff team yet. It's really too early, but they're at least a competitive team, way more competitive than I thought they'd be. And, Leo Carlsson, like as much as excitement about Bedard, and we'll get to him in a second, but man, the more I watch this Leo Carlsson kid, God, he's impressive.
He is so impressive. And I think Bedard's really picked it up as of late. But then there's that answer, like Carlsson will pick it up and he'll do some crazy things too. And then, I'm watching that Pens game last night and watching Fantilli out there. I like the way what he brings to the table too. I mean, we've got a really talented top end of that draft. That's they're getting it done here. And Leo Carlsson is a very unique one. And you talk about Greg Cronin and whoever's idea this was with Verbeek and Cronin. And I think we talked about it earlier, how they're going with a little bit of a work-rest ratio with Carlsson this year. And I think the traditionalist in me is like, what is this? This is dumb. I've never seen this before. And we just have never seen it. But whatever they're doing, it's working. And I think this is the long game, the long play. Yeah. Is make this kid comfortable. The more comfortable, he's looking pretty uncomfortable. Take it slow. This is about the next 15 years. Like, honestly, that's the way I think that they're looking at it. And I think that's a really bright way of looking at it. Let's not rush anything here. Let's keep, because the other part too, they want to put weight on them. They want them to get stronger. And just over the course of an NHL season, you can't do that. You can't, if you're playing every night, you can't. I've gone into training camp. I still remember this distinctly. You come into camp and you see somebody after the summer, and you're like, whoa, that guy worked hard this summer. Like, he's jacked. He's ready to go. Like, he looks like he put on 10 pounds of muscle, nice and lean, whatever. By the end of the season, we all look like we look like we've been sick for months, right? Like, we have drawn faces, like lose all that weight. Like, I think that you can't sustain the weight. You can't sustain muscle mass. So if it's making the kid get some more workouts in that it won't allow him to play, as weird as it is, it seems to be working. And I know he's been playing a lot more consistently lately, but it'll be something to monitor as the season goes on.
And one last one for you, Rupper. Where do you come out on the conversations of potentially, eliminating over and back when it comes to 3-on-3, where, you cross center once you're in the offensive zone? Obviously, you can leave, but you can't go back across center and regroup. Good or bad idea?
I don't love it, but I don't know if I have another idea that's better. Anything we're doing here is kind of like reinventing it in some degree. The one suggestion I had, and this is interesting for me, because I thought of it, of course, is I think it's interesting. I wouldn't say it, but people might think it's dumb, but it's a stretch too. But just like a coach will turn in the shootout list to the referees, right? Like, you get 3 players that you're going to choose, and after that, you're just picking as you go along. What if in overtime we keep it the same format it is, 3-on-3, 5 minutes, but you have to submit players, the only players that are allowed to be on the ice. So I don't know what that number is. Maybe it's 5 forwards and 3 defensemen. Those are your guys. So a lot of times in overtime, you'll have a defensive shutdown player. So I'm sure you see that all the time with Edmonton. So if Connor's out there, we're going to put this guy out here literally to not let Connor end the game. But he's not going to be able to probably end the game. We're just going to buy that next shift. I don't want to see that. We want to see excitement. So if you want to go skill versus skill, these guys are going to be taking chances. It's a little bit of a power flex for that. If you want to put a defensive shutdown guy out there, so be it. You don't have many other options than winning this game. I think it would limit. You guys would be a little more tired too. I think maybe it would open it up a little bit, but I don't know, man. That seems pretty drastic as well.
Well, it's definitely thinking outside the box, for sure. Players, does the coach tell the guys who he put on the list or not? That would be funny, guys. Well, I guess I can untie my skates now because I'm not going out there. But it is. I agree with you though. Like the game, like 3-on-3, they've managed to make it less boring, less exciting, which is like the worst thing. It should be good. We've got more speed and skill in the game than ever. Then you get to 3-on-3, and some of them are still awesome. Don't get me wrong. There's end-to-end, but there's some that I've watched where nothing happens for 2 minutes, right? And you're right. Like they put out there, okay, we got a third line guy who's a good skater, and he's going to kind of shadow. Well, that's not really what the purpose was. And I do think if you took away the loser point, that might change. Guys say, well, we got to go for it. They'll never do that, of course, because then just go 5-on-5. But I would like to see something change. I'd probably be in favor of 7 minutes to start too, because then there's fewer shootouts.
Yeah. Last thing to tag on that. I think that's the best way to do it, but I agree with you. They will never do it is take away that loser point. Because then that kind of messes up the parity that we have in this league right now and keeps everybody competitive and everybody stays close in these playoff hunts. It's going to get any adjustment that's made. It's almost like you have to revisit this every 5 years because it will get coached out. No matter what you do, it'll get coached out because you're coaching to not lose as opposed to coaching to win. That's just the name of the game.
Awesome. Rupper, great stuff, man. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks. You too.
There you go. That's Mike Rupp from the NHL Network. When we return, I'm excited about this one. We're going to change speeds a little bit. We're going to talk a little wrestling next. And trust me, you're going to want to hear who is coming on.
When basketball legend Shaquille O'Neal joined the team at Papa John's, he brought some big ideas. But his biggest idea is the Shaq-a-Roni pizza. It's a massive pizza designed to feed big appetites and make a big impact. It comes with 8 foldable Shaq-sized slices, loaded with extra cheese and extra pepperonis. But what makes it really big is that for every Shaq-a-Roni sold through December 31st, 2023, Papa John's donates $1 to Second Harvest to provide 3 healthy meals to people and agencies in need. The Shaq-a-Roni is bigger than pizza. Get yours today for only $21.99, only at Papa John's.
This is a commercial for Corporate Business Solutions.
Corporate Business Solutions, aka CBS. That's also known as CBS.
As I was saying, Corporate Business Solutions empowers any business to become more efficient and profitable with office machine technology that really works.
That's why they're the #1 Konica Minolta authorized dealer in all of Western Canada.
Well, why don't you just read the next line?
Sure. Corporate Business Solutions. Local service, local support, local always.
Visit cbsca.com.
One call does it all. Action Electrical is proud to celebrate 50 years of providing complete electrical services and a full circle of care, including projects, service, TAG, and energy. From humble beginnings in a small Sherwood Park basement to a family-run business, the Action Electrical stamp can be found on some of the most iconic schools, office buildings, and warehouses across Canada. From conception to completion and beyond, contact
the professionals
at actionelectrical.net today.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Being on this road together means saving twice during the Fountain Tire Road Ready sales event. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 select tires. Plus, get a bonus $50 off any service until December 16th. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com. Restrictions apply. Financing available. Ugh. Fine print.
There's nothing like having a little skin in the game to make things interesting. But when a little skin becomes more than you can afford to lose, it's time to take a break from sports betting. Set a budget and stick to it. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. On the Rocks Kitchen and Drink. Watch every single Oilers game at OTR with $4.50 Molson Canadian and 60-cent wings. Plus, play Oilers score and win, and you could walk away with a ton of On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave and 118th.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
And nothing gets me down. You got it tough. I've seen the toughest around. And I know, baby, just how you feel.
We continue on, Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440 live on Oilers Nation YouTube. And it's time for our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company, state-of-the-art motor coaches that safely take you or your group to their next destination. Go to silentrides.ca. And today, later on tonight, their weekly show Dynamite, you can watch it live on TSN tonight at 6 p.m. Edmonton time. We are joined from All Elite Wrestling, one of the stars and one of the youngest stars on the card. It's a pretty amazing story. Excited to have him on the show right now as Nick Wayne joins us. Nick, welcome to the show, my man. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for having me today.
Hey, I'm happy to have you on. This is probably a little bit different than a normal a pre-wrestling preparation for you, I would think. So that's good. Although I know now wrestling is as much about the athleticism as the ability to hype up the crowd. You're a young guy in the wrestling world at 18, but it's in your genes, I guess it's safe to say. Has this been the goal ever since you were like old enough to get in the ring, or what?
Very much so. Yes. The goal is always to go, I guess you could say, professional, or to get on the high level of televised wrestling, which is what AEW is. So to be able to accomplish a goal like this at such a young age is just, it's crazy to me to know that I'm here right now.
So, you've got, Ric Flair, Adam Copeland, Sting around. Like, those must have been guys you watched as a kid. Like, is it like any athlete when all of a sudden you're like, oh God, here I am. And there's Sting. How's that for you? Have you gotten over the awe factor?
There's still a lot of awe factors for me. Like you said, I watched a lot of them growing up, and there's a lot of guys on the roster actually that I watched growing up. So to be around them and kind of be in their presence, or like Christian Cage, to be under their learning tree, it's crazy to be here at such a young age and to be kind of in these guys' presence and to talk to them and being friends with some of them. It's truly crazy to me. It's still like a very big awe factor.
What's the biggest learning curve for you? Like, at such a young age, lots of guys, they'll go wrestling, you go to college and different things just to learn like the skills. There's a lot of skill involved. There's lots of natural athleticism as well. But for you to be in professional wrestling so young, what's been the biggest learning curve?
So there was like a big learning curve because before I got to AEW, I was on what was called the Independence. So I was on the Independence, and then switching to AEW and being on like a televised wrestling, just TV wrestling, I guess you could say, was a big learning curve. But I think as like a normal human, still being super young and still going to high school with like kids that were my age and being around wrestlers who are 20, 30, 40 years old, I matured a lot faster than the rest of them. And I feel like I kind of started to notice that, especially once I got to high school, and people told me, they were like, you're way more like mature than a normal person for your age, right? And sometimes I was like, really? But I started to realize it just like seeing like flashes of immaturity in people who were 16, 17, 18 at the time when I was also 16, 17, 18.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, you got signed when you were like 16 and a half, but you couldn't officially make your debut till you were 18, correct? So,
correct, yes.
So when you're signed, but you can't, what happens in that year and a half? Like, were you training behind the scenes? Kind of take me how that process goes.
So essentially what I signed when I was 16 was an apprenticeship deal, which is basically I'm locked into AEW from now until 18. And then once I'm 18, the contract officially kicks in and I'm a contracted wrestler for AEW. So So I started training to be a wrestler when I was 9, and I made my first debut on a show, an independent show, when I was 12. So from 12 to 16, I wrestled on the independents, and then I got offered the contract when I was 16, and I continued to do the independents from 16 until 18, just trying to fill up my schedule as much as possible on top of being a junior and senior in high school. So I just filled up my schedule as much as possible. I went international. I did 2 Japan tours, I think 5 or 6 tours in the UK, and I wrestled in France, and I've done Canada a bunch of times as well.
Yeah.
And so just trying to do as much independence as possible, just to better myself and working out as much as possible. And even though I don't have the best build right now, I'm still 18, I'm still growing, but I work out every day. I eat 6 times a day. And I've seen progress from when I was 16 until now. Yeah, just trying to train as hard as possible and to fill up my schedule as much as possible with these independent dates, just so that when I got to AEW, I was the best version of myself, and I was wrestling multiple times a week. And it's like, once I got there, it was like I was fresh, I was ready. Yeah, it was just the preparation and trying to wrestle and train as much as possible.
Nick Wayne joins us, of course, star of AW Wrestling. He'll be on TSN tonight. Interested now, as I mentioned, wrestling's in your genes. Your grandfather was Ed Moondog Moretti, and of course, your late father, Buddy Wayne, also a very famous wrestler. So, it's obviously something that's been in your genes for sure. You mentioned at the age of 9, you got into it, and was it obvious, like when you watch, you see that? Was there ever any hesitation not to go into wrestling because of that? Like, sometimes people want to follow in the family footsteps, and others are like, maybe I want to go somewhere else.
I feel like it was easy for me to kind of follow the family footsteps, just because when I was young, my father had a wrestling school, still has the wrestling school, but unfortunately he's not with us today. So we have different trainers that run the school. But when I was young, my father having the wrestling school, I would watch these training sessions go on 3 times a week. I would sit out there next to him. I'd watch these guys wrestle. And when there was not training going on, there was always some type of form of wrestling on a TV or a tablet or a laptop. WWE or another American independent, or AAA or CMLL, which is Lucha Libre in Mexico. I was always around some type of wrestling or playing with the action figures. So I was always just amazed by professional wrestling. So I wanted to do it, and the family legacy was just like the cherry on top. It's like, all right, like let's go. You know what I mean?
You mentioned, I like a joke how you're like, well, I don't necessarily have the best physique right now. Like, for the average person, you do, but wrestling, like, it's like there's a lot of strength involved, right? Like you got to almost, build up a little bit of extra weight just to handle the wear and tear, for sure, of it. You also are a heel, though, Nick. It's you got the smile. I see it all. Is it more fun being a heel?
So I've always been a babyface my entire career. From 12 to 18, I was babyface. So now being heel, it's definitely like a new transition that I'm still getting used to, but having the excuse to just be an asshole to thousands of people every week is kind of it's kind of cool.
Well, because I'm assuming, like, part of wrestling now is as much about the personality. Obviously, you have to have all the skill and the ability, but you need the persona. And the persona is a lot. Like, you look at a guy like The Rock. Like, The Rock had the persona. He had the eyebrow. You can go back to Hulk Hogan, lots of different, superstar wrestlers in any era and any faction, that they had kind of that it factor of their personality. And some of the best were the heels. Like, people loved to hate them, but then there became the fans who were like, God, I used to hate this guy, but now I kind of like him, right? Like, how do you build your character somewhat? How do you look at that evolution of Nick Wayne, the character, as much as Nick Wayne, the wrestler?
So I think character aspect, I got presented as Nick Wayne to the AEW audience as a babyface, and we put out these video packages and vignettes before I made my debut, essentially telling my story about, like, me being a young wrestler, and then my connection to Darby Allin, and then my father passing at such a young age. So it's kind of like a heartfelt story, to where maybe they had no idea who I was, but watching this 3-5 minute vignette, by the end of it, they're like, damn, I want to know more. I want to know more about this kid. I want to see this kid wrestle. So I'd eventually wrestle as a babyface for a few months in AEW, and I feel like it gets to a point where if you're, let's say, like a young and kind of successful kid and you're a good guy, maybe some people will start to be like, this kid is like, he's got a lot going for him, maybe too much. And they start to be like, maybe he's getting ahead of himself or something like that. And then now I did, because now I'm a heel. So now they love to hate me. And this is just the start of kind of the heel era of Nick Wayne. So maybe in a year, 2 years time, we'll get to what you said. Like, I used to hate this guy, but I'm kind of starting to like him. So I feel like a big part of like a persona and who you are as a wrestler is kind of those dips and dives, like the people like The Rock and Randy Savage. They were faces at a time, but then they were once a heel, and you loved to hate him. But then once he was back to a face, you loved him more than anyone.
Coming up this weekend in the old LA Forum. God, I love that place for many sporting events over the years. It's still around. You're going to be in a 3-man tag team match. Yourself and Christian Cage and Luchasaurus going up against Darby Allin, Adam Copeland, and Sting. The 3-man tag match. Talk about the challenges of that compared to being in an individual match.
So I definitely say there's challenges, but there's also advantages as well. The challenges is you have more people in the ring. Once it starts to break down and it gets all crazy and tags don't matter no more, you got to watch over your shoulder. You got to watch your back. You never know. Like, there's 3 people against you. They could come sneak up, attack you from behind. But then the advantage to these matches is, rather than a singles match, you're in there the whole time from belt to belt, you're fighting. But in a 6-man tag, maybe you have times where I don't want to say resting, but the attention is not on you.
Sure.
So maybe I get beat, and then there's attention somewhere else. And now I have a minute to, kind of chill, relax for a second. And that's kind of the advantages. But then the disadvantage is you have 2 more people in this match to come run up on you when you're not expecting it.
What is the toughest move to execute for you in the ring?
So this is a kind of funny story. So I'm very, I would say, like, I'm on the more athletic or athleticism size of move set for professional wrestling. And the school I trained at, which is my father's school, the roof was very, very low. Like, there was no standing on the top rope, and you're lucky if you could stand on the middle rope. That's how low these ceilings were. So me being athletic and maybe like trying to dive out of the ring or diving over the top rope, I never did that in training. But then one day when I would do shows in Independence, one day I'd be like, I'm gonna do a moonsault off the top rope to the outside. I've never done it, but I'm gonna just do it. And I would just do it. And I'd be like, all right, I can do it. I checked that one off the list. So when it comes to like athleticism and stuff, I don't want to say it comes easy, because there's like a very big risk factor. You're jumping up 12, 15 feet in the air and crashing down to the floor onto other bodies. I've rolled many ankles. I've sprained, broken my fingers, broken my toes from doing things like that. But when it comes to difficult, most difficult to pull off, I mean, top rope moves are very like high risk. They call it the high risk district, because it's a high risk. But because, like we said earlier, maybe I don't have the size as everyone else. If I'm wrestling someone twice my weight, they're not going off the ground, most likely.
Right.
I'm trying to, if I try to lift these guys, maybe it's not possible. So I guess you could say maybe more lifting moves on guys that are 3 times my weight is almost not possible. Maybe 2 times is I could get it done. But once you get into like the 300 pounders, I'm beat.
Now, Nick, it's only been a month since your mom, since you disowned your parents and declared that Cage is now your new father figure. Is there ever going to be any kissing and making up? How's that going for you?
Well, what we've shown on TV, there's no making up anytime soon. I do, like, I'm still 18, so I do still live with my mom, but I'm usually gone most of the time, traveling on the road, or when I am at home, I'm at the gym or training somewhere. So I see my mom on when I'm home, but there's still kind of that like you have an argument with someone and then you guys like talk after and you try to like not try to make it better, but you talk as if nothing happened, and you can feel that kind of like wall between you guys, or that boulder between you guys. Like, you feel the awkwardness in the air. It feels like that.
How's your new father figure? What have you learned?
Amazing. Amazing. Being under his learning tree as a professional wrestler and a human is very good because he's been in this business for decades and he's done some of the greatest things that there is to do in this business. So being under a learning tree like his of someone that's so successful, all you can do is just sit and have ears open and listen to him. So I learn things from Christian Cage on a weekly basis, honestly, every time I'm around him.
Well, Nick, I think this interview right now is going to get me in the real cool books for my son. He's really gotten into wrestling lately. And then when I go home and tell him that I had Nick Wayne on my show, he'll be pretty fired up. I know the Edmonton show earlier this year was a week before you were able to make your debut. So next time you come back to Edmonton, we'll have to get you in studio. Continued success. We'll be watching, and best of luck tonight. And of course, coming up in the 3-man tag this weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me again.
That is Nick Wayne, AEW wrestler, 18 years of age. You kidding me? It's unreal. I love it. Having a little bit of fun with the character. Obviously, you got to go into character a little bit. You know what? Honestly, for me, I love Stampede wrestling. Growing up as a kid, I loved it. And my son's now at that age where, he's watching wrestling a little bit. My wife hates wrestling. So I'll be honest, I kind of probably push him to watch it a little bit more just because I know it irritates her. But great stuff to watch. It'll be on TSN tonight. And you know what? It's that guilty pleasure that many of you have. I know many of you are wrestling fans or were a wrestling fan at some point. And then, when your kids now, for me, like I haven't watched wrestling in a long time, but my son does enjoy it. Him and I, of course, wrestle quite a bit. I love it. It's super fun. And to get young Wayne on the show is pretty cool. So kudos to Bradley to setting that up. And you know what? I actually like the fact that there's a little bit more competition right now for those who want to watch. And like anything, you know what? If you want to make it, and I know there's some people, I don't like wrestling, it's script. Well, yeah, we all know it's scripted. It's entertainment. I don't know what the outcome is going to be. That's why I watch. I don't care if they know, but I don't know what it is. Just like in the Oilers game tonight. Do you know what the outcome is going to be? You think you know, but you don't know 100%. Can make it fun. And I love his answer about being a heel, because I think most of us, for a short period of time, like it would be awesome to be the heel. Quick break. We'll come back. We got 5 questions more. It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 live on Oilers Nation YouTube. And before we go, though, help your neighbor right now. Very easy. We just had wrestling on. So the code word today, wrestling. Text wrestling and your first name to 833-401-1440. You could end up winning the, if you qualify today, you get the Sports 1440 hat. You then go into the draw on Monday. We're going to do the draw. And the winner is going to win themselves tickets to the Oilers game on the 8th of December. They're also going to win the thermostat of the ecobee Smart installed courtesy of Legacy Heating and Cooling. And most importantly, you're going to win the opportunity to gift a brand new high-efficiency furnace. Installation included, all the permits, 5-year warranty, 10-year or 5-year parts, 10-year labor warranty. You also have the lifetime heat exchanger warranty. It's an amazing package, courtesy of Legacy Heating and Cooling. So it's that simple. Text in wrestling and your first name. And then think about who in your circle could you gift a brand new high efficiency? Because it's not for you. You're helping someone else. It's like you get to be Santa Claus a month early. It's amazing.
Looking to tackle your backyard projects with power and precision this fall? Look no further than Kubota compact tractors. Experience the perfect blend of compact size and unbeatable value with Kubota. Right now, take advantage of financing as low as 0% for up to 84 months and save up to $1,500 on select models. Plus, as the temperature drops, get ready for Alberta winters with confidence with Kubota Performance Match snowblowers, sweeper, and blades. Visit Edmonton Kubota today for details.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients. Better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients. Better pizza. Papa John's. That's Sports 20.
When you call CBS,
Hello, Corporate Business Solutions.
You'll speak with a real real live person located right here in Edmonton. No 1-800 number, no call centers, no waiting on hold forever. Just trained, experienced, and local service technicians. CBS is Western Canada's largest Konica Minolta factory authorized dealer of multifunction office equipment, printers, software solutions, and mailing machines. Corporate business solutions, local service, local support, local always. Call 780-490-5600 or visit cbsca.com.
No project too difficult. No problem too complex for Action Electrical. Edmonton's leading electrical contractor is a family-run business since 1973 and proud to offer complete commercial electrical services of the highest quality. When you need a contractor to design, build, implement, and maintain complex systems or emergency electrical assistance, help is here with the professionals. Book a service call at actionelectrical.net today. That's actionelectrical.net.
It's simply the best time to buy. The Black Friday event is on right now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. You'll save up to a game-changing $7,500 off your purchase or finance as low as 1.49%. Choose from a winning selection of 2023 cars and SUVs like the sleek S60 or the roomy and comfortable XC60s and 90s. Black Friday is on now at Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Visit 1205 101st Street Southwest or chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
What's better than getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee? Getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee for only $4 plus tax. It's your favorite McDonald's breakfast for less. What's better than that? For limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
What does 3 decades of perfecting your craft look like? Ask the guys at Leduc Goldsmiths, locally run and bringing you nothing but quality work and service. Built from the ground up through family, from generation to generation, uncle to nephew, father to son. The pride in their family jewelry store is the pride you take home, bringing you custom and repair work. But it's their face-to-face service that keeps you coming back. Leduc Goldsmiths on Main Street, Leduc. Leduc's jewelry store, family-owned and operated for over 30 years.
Are you getting a share of the profits from your bank? Each year, Vision Credit Union returns about 75% of our credit union profits to our members through profit shares and cash dividends. Last year, our profit share payout was $14.25 million. That's a big cash infusion for our members and for rural Alberta communities. It's time you got your share of the profits. Find out how at whatsyourshare.ca.
The Taboo, everything to do with sex show is coming back to Edmonton this weekend. It's Edmonton's sexiest all-inclusive adult party. If you've never been to the Taboo show, you don't know what you're missing. Introducing Glow Friday and Masquerade Saturday. Taboo has something for everyone. It's all about feeling sexy. Bring your sweetheart, your friends, or come alone. Grab a drink, walk around and enjoy non-stop stage entertainment, shopping, and seminars. Bad Dragon presents The Taboo Show this weekend at the Expo Center in Edmonton. Visit tabooshow.com.
When basketball legend Shaquille O'Neal joined the team at Papa John's, he brought some big ideas, but his biggest idea is the Shaq-a-Roni pizza. It's a massive pizza designed to feed big appetites and make a big impact. It comes with 8 foldable Shaq-sized slices, loaded with extra cheese and extra pepperonis. But what makes it really big is that for every Shaq-a-Roni sold through December 31st, 2023, Papa John's donates $1 to Second Harvest to provide 3 healthy meals to people and agencies in need. The Shaq-a-Roni is bigger than pizza. Get yours today for only $21.99, only at Papa John's.
Cause inside out is wicked and wicked and wicked and whack. I come stomping with something pumping to keep you jumping.
4:53. Welcome back. Jason Gregor Show. Sports 1440 live in orders Nation YouTube. And congratulations, Peter. He is our qualifier today in Help Your Neighbor. How are you, my man?
I'm doing great. Thanks.
Hey, you've got the Sports 1440 hat. You're in the draw, and if you win, you will get the Google Nest or Ecobee Smart Thermostat installed in your home. You'll also get sweet seats over the Oilers Attack twice in the lower bowl on Friday, December 8th. And then most importantly, though, you are then going to have a choice. You are going to be able to gift someone in your circle that doesn't live with you, that is 18 years, they own their own home and they reside within 100 kilometers of Edmonton, a brand new Goodman high efficiency furnace, comes with the permit, the inspection fees. They'll take away their old furnace, 5-year labor, 10-year parts, all of that. Do you have anyone, Peter, in your circle that you know who needs a furnace?
Well, there's my mother-in-law, 51, my sister-in-law who just got married. They might need a new furnace, so it's probably going to stay inside the family, but if none of them need it, then I'm going to find somebody at work that needs one, and I'll gift it to them.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I love it. Awesome. Appreciate it, man. We'll stay on the line. Connor will get all your info, and we'll do the draw on Monday, so be paying attention. Might be your name.
Sounds good, and glad to hear you guys are back on the radio.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So there you go. Pretty easy. Now we have 2 more chances, tomorrow and Friday, and then we will do the draw on Monday, and someone's going to win this massive prize courtesy of Legacy Heating and Cooling. Pretty awesome stuff. Speaking of awesome, let's get to our daily 5 questions brought to you by The Brick and their Bricks holiday pricing. They will guarantee they're committed to saving you more. You're getting the lowest prices. If you find a lower price before the end of the year, they will refund you the difference at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Gregor, question number 1. Oilers taking on the Seattle Kraken once again tonight. 6:30 puck drop, give or take. What is the biggest key to victory? And give me a prediction as well.
Honestly, I think the biggest key tonight, that looking at both of these teams, they've both been terrible in the second and third period. So good start for the Oilers, which that's the one area of their game that's really been fairly consistent. They've had good starts. Like, I know they gave up a goal in the first 50 seconds last game, but look at the first period. They're outscoring teams. They're getting crushed in the rest of the periods. Even after outscoring the Islanders 3-0, they're still -7 in the third period. They're -10 going into that game. So honestly, if you look at Seattle, like, they've been outscored 24-9 in the third period. They're okay in the first, and then it just goes downhill. So for the Oilers, good start.
Yeah, I think trying to eliminate lower down the high danger opportunities. I thought they've done a good job the last couple games. If they can keep that up, I like the big name players to continue the hot streak from what we saw on a Monday against the Islanders. I'm going to say 4-1 win. Same score, 3 games in a row. Question number 2, Gregor. When you look at Pickard and the opportunity to get him a start, obviously we know when they get on this road trip, there's going to be some tough matchups. Is there a game you think would be a good opportunity for him to get out there and give Stuart Skinner the night off?
Well, they're going to have to pick one for sure. Florida and Carolina, probably the 2 that you wouldn't. Tampa Bay is actually the lowest of the 4 teams in the standings. I'm not sure that's the easiest game, though. Jeez. Like, if Skinner plays well again tonight, then I'm not gonna give him the Saturday start to Pickard because of 2 days off between. So I'll go with Skinner again there. You know what? I'm gonna go with Florida because I think Florida, they were in the Stanley Cup final last year. They're playing very well. Sometimes you got to put your goalie in. A, that you hope your team's ready, but B, that maybe that sparks them a little bit. So I'll say Florida.
Yeah, I like that one. Obviously, with the road and the travel, I think that's the one I had circled as well. Carolina could be a tough team. The Caps would be 3 straight games more for Skinner. So I think the Panthers would be a good one to drop him in there as well. Question number 3 for you. This happened yesterday. The PWHL released the jerseys for the 6 teams in the league, and they're all kind of the same uniform. Different colors, of course, but it's the team with the city written diagonal across. Think of the Rangers or the Pittsburgh Penguins had one. Do you think that it's a missed opportunity to give the team maybe a logo, a team name, and identity to start off, or am I just making a big deal out of nothing?
Well, it's probably not best case scenario, but also I've been told this is a 1-year thing. right? They will have better jerseys and everything else. So, you know what? You can argue it's maybe a marketing thing because the fans of the league, there's going to be lots of young girls across the country that are like, oh my, I want one. Automatically, they don't care. So, because it's a big deal, right? This is a real big deal. So, I don't think it's that massive of a missed opportunity. It's come together very quickly. Startup leagues are difficult, right? So could they have done it better? Sure. I'm maybe not the best guy to ask. I don't really care. I actually kind of like the name diagonally on the jerseys. I've loved Team Pittsburgh has one in the NHL. We've seen the Rangers you mentioned. I like ones that do it. So I don't mind it. It gives them a little bit more time. And so, you know what? Instead of rushing and having it average, this way it's like, okay, we went with something that's pretty clean. It's pretty easy. It's noticeable, but we know this is not long-term. They're going to have all new ones next year.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind it. I think, in terms of if you want to get some memorabilia out there, it'd be cool to have some hats with the logos. I'm trying to think of startup leagues that had done that sort of thing. The CEBL, like the Stingers gear looked great. I thought that was a good way to get it out in there. And, you can sell that sort of things. But I'm with you. The diagonal look is pretty clean. The Steelers did a great one. The Rangers, I think Colorado did one as well a couple of years ago. Like, I think it is a good look, but I hope next year they get some logos and give these teams a little more character. Question number 4. Right now at Play Alberta, Grey Cup odds have the Alouettes as 8.5-point underdogs. What do you think about that spread right now? And would you be sprinkling a little cash on that?
I think that's probably fair when you consider the fact that this is the 4th consecutive trip for Winnipeg. And we just had Randy Spencer and talking about the benefit of experience. And Winnipeg's been the best team all season long, I would argue. Montreal, hey, give them credit. They did have the big upset. And if you remember to 1989, when the then Eskimos got upset after a 16-2 season, who went on to win? The Saskatchewan Roughriders. So I'm sure Montreal is going to play that, but I think that's a pretty fair line. Do I think the game will be closer, right? Like, I think the Bombers are winning, but I could see the Owls keeping it closer than that. See, I'm torn. I think it's either going to, I don't think there's a middle ground. I think it's either close, 3 points, Cons, or it's a blowout. So, I don't really, the spread to me could then be 10.5. I think it'll be a blowout if it's. So I think I'd still take the Bombers -8.5. But it's a good line because it makes you think.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you'd hope that ideally a championship game in any league would be a little bit closer, but the Bombers are such a solid team. I think right now I might look at, saying that the Alouettes find a way to cover. Just hope they can find a way to get it done. But I don't know if I'd be overly confident in it happening. Gregor, question number 5 for you. Obviously, Formula One heading to Las Vegas. They've been putting in a lot of work the last couple of months to get the track ready. And visually, it looks awesome. It's going to be a night race. So, we're going to get some cool shots. I'll ask you this. If you could go to F1 or any F1 event, money not being an issue, which would you pick?
Well, I've already been to one, and I quite enjoy it. But I would probably, I'd probably go to see, it depends, because the place I'd want to go, right, is the City Park, right, in Milan with the De Monza, but the race itself is boring, but the experience, I think. So I'm going for the experience, so I'd probably go there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at some of these here. There's some beautiful
Monaco.
ones. That was where I was going to go, Monaco.
Yeah.
It looks like right through the city. You're going kind of by the harbor as well. People are so close too. Yeah, I'm going Monaco for sure.
Yeah, it's hard not to like that one. So
I think Vegas is going to be really cool though.
Yeah, the night race. Interesting start time, 10 p.m. on Saturday night for all of you diehard race fans. That's 11 o'clock Edmonton time. So that's when it starts. I'll be curious to see, it probably look cool. But yeah, it's listening to people who know way more about F1 than me. And every person, when I went to my first F1, they said, never go to the first race in the city. It's not as organized as you'd like it to be. And that's from a veteran fan perspective. So if you're going to Vegas, I hope you have a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun there, but there might be a few lineups or stuff, or maybe if you're in the VIP section, that's not there, or certain stands aren't set up great. That's what they say. You never want to go to your first F1 race in a city for the first time. So we'll see if it plays out. When we come back, Mark Spector will join us. We're also going to go back inside the Oilers. locker room. We got the lineup and much, much more on a busy Wednesday edition of the Jason Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Here's the Connor Halley Sports 1440 update brought to you by Edmonton, Kubota. Jeez, did you look at the weather? It's coming. Oh, my goodness. Hopefully not a lot, but it's coming. The white stuff and snow. So avoid the stress of snow. Get all the great snow removal equipment and all the accessories you need to relieve your stress. EdmontonKubota.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It's game day. The Oilers in action, hosting the Seattle Kraken. Puck drop just after 6:30. Stuart Skinner gets a start between the pipes. Elsewhere, Flyers and Hurricanes in about 30 minutes. At 7 o'clock, the Ducks will take on the Avalanche. Then at 8 o'clock, it's the Canucks hosting the New York Islanders in the association. The Toronto Raptors will take on the Milwaukee Bucks. That one starts at 5:35. You've also got the Mavs in Washington. Hawks host the Knicks. Celtics taking on the 76ers. Bulls host the Magic. The Timberwolves in the desert to take on the Suns. Lakers up against the Kings. And the Cavs head to Portland. In the AJ, 3 games on this schedule. You've got the Sherwood Park Crusaders hosting Lloydminster. That one starting at 7 o'clock out at Sherwood Park Arena. Also, Brooks up against Canmore and Bonnyville in Whitecourt to take on the Wolverines. That one starting at 7. Oil Kings starting off a road trip out in Regina, taking on the Pats. That one will get going in just over an hour. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Looking to tackle your backyard projects with power and precision this fall? Look no further than Kubota compact tractors. Experience the perfect blend of compact size and unbeatable value with Kubota. Right now, take advantage of financing as low as 0% for up to 84 months and save up to $1,500 on select models. Plus, as the temperature drops, get ready for Alberta winters with confidence with Kubota Performance Match snowblowers, sweeper, and blades. Visit Edmonton Kubota today for details.
When you think local, think corporate business solutions. Local service, local support, local always. CBS is the largest Konica Minolta office equipment dealer in Western Canada with a full line of multifunction office devices, printers, mail machines, and software solutions. When you call CBS, you'll speak with a live person located right here in Edmonton, and most issues can be resolved over the phone within 20 minutes or less. Call Corporate Business Solutions today, 780-490-5600, or visit cbsca.com.
Your furnace is dead. It's time to replace it before winter crushes you. Legacy Heating and Cooling is practically there already.
Yeah, we're working in your basement, doing a replacement. The work is so earnestly building your legacy.
With no payments and no interest for 1 year, you gotta call Legacy. Replacing your dying furnace before it's too late, that's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Action Electrical is expanding throughout Alberta. With the recent acquisition of Big Hill Electrical Services in Cochrane, Action Electrical is the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta. What does this mean for Action Electrical and Big Hill Electrical Services? It means that they are able to support their clientele all over Alberta with the same high level of professionalism and integrity. From conception to completion and beyond, throughout Alberta, contact
the professionals
at actionelectrical.net today. That's actionelectrical.net.
You know, I got into reffing for the excitement.
He's going for the chair.
Turns out wrestling is completely scripted. But you know what's exciting and unscripted? PlayAlberta.ca. With an all-new sportsbook, odds boosts, and betting on any game.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today with promo code SPORTS50 and get a $50 free bet. Official gaming partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Does anyone buy an RV in the fall? I mean, why would you go to all the trouble to find just the right one when you can't enjoy it until the spring? Only someone like Rick Showers from Noble RV would know the answer. Ain't that right, Rick?
That's right, Bob. You'd be surprised how many people buy their RV from us in the fall. It's a buyer's market. The people who sell their RVs with us are often a little more motivated to sell this time of year. And that means a better deal for you. And when you buy your quality used RV from No Bull now, I cover the cost of storage and winterization for the coming winter. So you can pick it up in the spring, ready to roll, without paying an extra cent.
Winterization and storage? That can cost quite a bit, Rick.
Not when you come to No Bull. Our inventory is constantly changing. Something we have today, we might not have in the spring. So the best time to find the RV that's right for you is anytime.
And that's no bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Need a change to winter tires? Drop by a Mr. Lube location for no appointment tire service and sales, open 7 days a week. If you're in Spruce Grove, visit Mr. Lube on the corner of Century Road and McLeod Avenue, or shop tires online at mrlube.com.
We roll through a lovely Wednesday afternoon. How are you? Happy hump day. Made it through the middle of the week, baby. Now it's all downhill from here. 2 more days. Oiler fans, you could be going on a 2-day break on a 3-game winning streak. Dare to dream. Dare to dream as the Oilers trying to defeat Seattle for the second time in 5 days. Of course, Stuart Skinner will get the start in goal tonight. Is the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website, where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the lovely province of Alberta. Well, we'll get back in the order room a little bit later on, but first, let's get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction, as they get set to celebrate 50 years. You know what? You want to get there. You want to be part of that party? Well, guess what? They're hiring right now. It's a perfect time to get in. You slide in. All of a sudden, you got the big bashes next year that you can be a part of. Go to Indeed.com and look up GS Construction. As we welcome to the show from Rogers Sportsnet. If he was a wrestler, some would consider him a very good heel. Mark Spector joins us. Spec, how you doing?
A heel. Hey, that's what I am now. I'm a heel. I like that.
I think you would like we had Nick Wayne on, and he was like, man, there's something great about just being a dick to a large group of people. Like, everybody, don't lie. I would want to be a heel for a while. I think it'd be fantastic.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you what. I mean, if you didn't think Jesse Puljujarvi could play in this town, that made you a heel, right? So I'm a heel. I'm a heel. You're probably a heel too.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll see. But we were correct. Nonetheless, let's look at the Oilers tonight against Seattle, a team that, hey, clearly you go player by player. The Oilers have more talent than them. We saw, they dominated in the first period and then played a professional game after that. They had a terrible first shift against the Islanders, but after that played a pretty mature game and waited, and their power play showed up when it mattered. Their big guns, Leon Draisaitl, like, you probably got lost. We didn't talk about it, but Leon Draisaitl dominated that game from start to finish, really. Like, he was the best player on the ice. We saw the shot on the goal. The pass to Sen McDavid was ridiculous. You know what? He got fined for being aggressive / cheap, which I don't mind every now and then if one of your players is a little bit dirty. That's okay. They need more of that from number 29.
Yeah, I'm okay with that was a dirty cross check. He cross checked Bo Horvat right in the back of the knee. And when you look back about 8 seconds, Bo Horvat kicked his feet out from under him. That's dirty too. And I'm not having, everybody who's listening to this show knows a thing or two about the game of hockey. And I'm here to tell you that a slew foot is probably the more dangerous of those two plays, to be honest. I love a skilled guy who stands up for himself. I think that is so awesome. If I got a guy on my team, he's my best player. I don't love him to look over at the bench and say, hey, where's a tough guy to do my dirty work for me? I love it when they take it in their own hands. So that's good. And yeah, this team's built, the oldest cliche in hockey, Jay, your best players have to be your best players, right? This team's built for 29 and 97 to get some points here. All of a sudden they get some points. All of a sudden you're going to get some wins.
Yeah, well, 100%. Yeah, it's shocking how that works. If your best players are your best players most night, you got a better chance. It helps that the team defense isn't leaking chance after chance. And you know what? The last two games, I thought in Seattle, Stuart Skinner made a really big save early on. And in New York, I thought he made a few key saves the second period that really helped, keep the game close. And he wasn't called upon to be fantastic, but he was very steady. And there's all sorts of things slowly building for this team. They got a long way to go. And you know what? No offense, shutting down Seattle and the Islanders, trust me, I'm not anointing the Oilers defensively sound yet, because those are two of the worst offensive teams in the league. But Spec, as crazy as it sounds, because the start the Oilers are off to, this is a game that you have to win if you want to start climbing your way out of the basement.
Hey, this team's won 2 in a row. You know what place they're in the league? 31st, right? Remember a few days ago, they were saying, hey, it's not so bad. We're 7 points out of the playoffs. Well, right now they're 8 points out of the playoffs, and they won 2 in a row. They got 7 teams to climb past and 8 points to make up. And if you want to know how slow a process that's going to be, Oilers fans aren't going to – we haven't been in this spot for a while, right? You wait. We're going to look in a month, and the Oilers are going to play great hockey, and we're going to go, okay, now it's 5 points and 4 teams. It is a slow process getting past all those teams and making up all those points. I'm not saying they can't do it, and good for them. There's tons of time, because that's what it takes. Is it 2 points every 3 weeks or a point every 10 days, whatever it is such a slow process. The Oilers can do it, but I wouldn't be impatient. It's going to take a while.
Oh gosh, yeah. You look at it now. A win tonight does jump them over Chicago and Nashville, so that's a step. Puts them 2 back. They play the next night, and then right? Yeah.
They play the next night.
Eventually, you have to start climbing out some. Oiler fans would probably be best suited not to look at the standings until the middle of December, because by then maybe now, unless the Oilers go on some 8-game run, but realistically, if you could gain 3 to 4 points every month, that's what you're looking to do.
Yeah, that would be fast enough. Yeah. And that's not unrealistic, but I'm not sure people realize how good a hockey you have to play to make up 3-4 points every month. And here we go. You get Seattle tonight, and then it's followed by Tampa, which is always a hard place to play. Florida, Edmonton usually does pretty well in Florida by my recollection. Carolina is an awesome, good team. And Washington on the road, you know what? Who knows? So, yeah, I look at this Seattle game, Jay, and say, these are 2 points you better get in the bank. Because, out of the next 8 points coming, you might have to settle for 4 of them if you're lucky. These are 2. You can beat Seattle. You're at home. You're fairly rested. You got to win this game. I think it's an important game. Yep.
That divisional game for sure. Adam Ernie, Philip Broberg recalled. They're going to actually go on the road with 2 extra skaters. Right? Connor Brown's not going to play tonight, but could get in on Saturday by the sounds of it, Spec. So at least they'll have some healthy bodies. They lose their crewing cap space for the time being because of Janmark on LTR and Holloway, more so Holloway first. So, I look at it, it's kind of a 1 game, I think, for Ernie. And then once Brown's healthy, he comes in. 2 things. When do you think they play Skinner on the road trip? And when do you think Broberg does, or if he does, get in the lineup?
Well, let's start with Broberg. Someone's got to make room for him. There's only one guy they're taking out of their defensive lineup, and we all know who it is, right? It's Vinny Desharnais. Yeah. So, they're not pulling Kulak out for Broberg. Obviously barring injury, right? Mm-hmm. So on performance, I guess my answer to you is if Desharnais plays real well and does the things he's supposed to do, it's going to be hard for Broberg to get a look.
Yeah.
As for Skinner, Skinner plays till he stops playing good. They're only playing every second day. I'm not worried about Skinner being tired. He's starting to find his groove. I'm coaching this team. If we play the first 3 games and he's had good starts, is he starting in Washington to end the trip? You're damn right he's starting in Washington to end the trip. Absolutely.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
Go back to backs on this trip, right?
No,
the travel's easy once you get there.
Yeah, no, that's true. And they're leaving tomorrow, so that makes up for the long. Tomorrow's a pretty long travel day. Then they get in, they'll practice Friday, I would think, and then they play Saturday. Tampa to Florida is basically nothing in travel. Florida, Carolina is not much. Carolina to Washington's the one spec is they play Wednesday night, and then it's a Friday afternoon game, so it's kind of like a day and a half. So maybe they could do it. But then probably the toughest travel is the afternoon. While they play in Washington, I guess it's an afternoon game, so it helps a bit. But then they got to go Washington home, and then they play the Ducks, who are very competitive right now, Spec. Surprisingly competitive are the Ducks.
Yeah, that might be the game you give to your backup, right?
Okay.
The team coming home from that long road trip, we know the situation. It's always a tough game for that Oilers team. It is for every team. So that might be the one you give your backup, sure. I don't get me wrong. The coach is thinking about this too. He's got to get his backup in somewhere. But there's 2 things going on here. With all due respect to Pickard, like he's an awesome veteran journeyman guy, but no one's really worried about his feelings here. He's here to do a job, and that's to be the backup and play when asked. But if he doesn't play, no one's going to cry a tear. And the other thing is, you know what? If Skinner's going good, why would you get in the way of that? This team is absolutely dying for some goalie to take the reins here. If Skinner takes those reins, oh my gosh, the dumbest thing you can do is take them out of his hands, right?
Yeah, that's fair. All right. It is. You're right. He's a young guy, and it's not a ton of games. I do want, I think he might play one game, but you're right. If Skinner's rocking, maybe they ride with him. We don't know kind of where the coach is yet on goaltenders. Obviously, he did mention, he talked to the goalie coach and they kind of see where it goes from there. Speaking of goalies, I know he's not playing for the Oilers right now, but Jack Campbell's 3 games in the American League spec have not gone very well. To put it mildly, right? It's I watched the highlights of that game last night in Calgary, and not good. Like goals literally just going through him from different areas all over the ice. Would they be better off just to say, you know what, we're going to spend 2 weeks here just working on fundamentals here. We're not going to put you in the game because you're just going to keep losing confidence.
Well, the plan was to let him play in the game and find his confidence. So if you're telling me that after 3 starts we're at plan B, that I'm not here to argue with you. Maybe we are at plan B, and plan B is we don't play anywhere. We don't play at all. That wasn't supposed to happen, right? Does he go down to, then what does he do? Does he come up here and work in Edmonton, or does he go down to Baco and work down there? I mean, listen, these are uncharted waters, as they say, man. I'm not sure. I just don't know what you do. It's 50% about his physical game. No, it's 8% about his physical game, and it's 92% about his mental game. And however you can best get this guy, this player, this person stable and ready and competitive and feeling good about himself in his mental state, that's what we do. This is all about getting Jack Campbell to believe in himself here, because right now the Jack Campbell that you and I know a little bit, I'll bet you he's beating himself up pretty good. And if he's back in that position, Jay, he's never going to put it together physically on the ice.
Yeah, no, that's it's totally valid. Spec, we'll see you down at the rink. Have a good one.
All right, man.
That's Mark Spector and the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you, Sports 1440, live in the EWEL studio, EWEL.ca for all your electrical needs, top quality products. And also, if you want to make your projects flow even better, they can help you out with that as well, EWEL.ca. When we return, we'll go back in the room. We'll get you to the lineups and more on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 and live on Oilers Nation YouTube.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
Your furnace is broken. Legacy Heating and Cooling will give it a good talking to and make it smarten its act up right now.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If your furnace is disobedient and refuses to heat.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you just want some peace of mind this winter.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Plus, Legacy never charges overtime rates. Always call Legacy Heating and Cooling.
With sport and group events returning, are you looking for safe and professional travel options? Look no further than Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
What's better than getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee? Getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee for only $4 plus tax. It's your favorite McDonald's breakfast for less. What's better than that? For limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Hey sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Hey everyone, it's Kelly here for United Sport and Cycle. Christmas is just around the corner, and we've got everything for the athlete and sports fan on your list, including United gift cards. United Sport and Cycle, your Santa's workshop for over 95 years.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Fact: 1 in 6 Alberta men will face prostate cancer. So please support the Man Van, the mobile testing clinic for prostate cancer. Visit prostatecancercenter.ca to donate in November and keep it in Alberta. All donations go towards the Man Van and stay right here in Edmonton.
Need a change to winter tires? Drop by a Mr. Lube location for no appointment tire service and sales, open 7 days a week. If you're in Spruce Grove, visit Mr. Lube on the corner of Century Road and McLeod Avenue, or shop tires online at mrlube.com.
Your old furnace can die in the blink of an eye, so why take that chance this winter? Eric Mikowski here, head of the family at Furnace Family. The time for a new furnace is now. Not only will you have peace of mind on those cold winter nights, you will save money on those super expensive gas bills. Unsure? Furnace Family can come check your furnace, and if you buy a new one from us, the check is free. Daikin has an industry-leading lifetime warranty on their heat exchangers. It could be the last furnace you ever buy. Visit furnacefamily.com. Jingle time.
Done right, day or night, furnacefamily.com.
How are you? Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show. Sports 1440. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. It is game day. Oilers taking on the Seattle Kraken tonight. And it's time to get to the lineups brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. The existing business, Free Spirit Marine, has been around since 1985. They've now teamed up with the people at Sherwood Ford, and they have the new one, Sherwood Power Sports, and they have a fantastic facility. It's a huge building across from Millennium Place, 91,000-liter pool. You can test everything in there because, hey, if you're buying it, it's like a car. You want to test drive your car? Well, now you can test drive your boat. Do it all at Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. The Edmonton Oilers, of course, Stuart Skinner will be the starting netminder tonight. No real surprise. He has been rolling, and he will go up against Joey Daccord. So that should be advantage Edmonton Oilers, you would think, right? Should be. The lineup for the Edmonton Oilers, fairly similar, but a few changes due to injury. McDavid, of course, will center Gagne and Nugent-Hopkins. Draisaitl, Kane, and Zach Hyman. Ryan McLeod will center Warren Fogle and Derek Ryan. Ryan moves up because Dylan Holloway is out. He's got a knee injury, out for a few months probably. Then Raphael Lavoie, James Hamlin, and Adam Ernie. Of course, Ernie will play the left side. Lavoie will be on his natural right side, and Hamlin will be the center. Defense pairing is always the same. Nurse, Ceci, Ekholm, Bouchard, Kulak, and Vincent Desharnais. Meanwhile, the Seattle Kraken come in. They got a few injuries, but it sounds like Jordan Eberle is going to get back tonight. So Eberle will be in. He'll slot in with Beniers and McCann. Wenberg, who's still looking for his first goal of the season with Tanev and Schwartz. Yanni Gourde between Borkstrand and Tolvanen. And then Pierre-Edouard Bellemare with Kyler Yamamoto and Ty Carty. Yamamoto getting a thank you video tonight? I would guess probably yes. That would be my guess. We've had a few people wondering. I'm going to say yes on that. Another former Oiler, Adam Larson with Vince Dunn, Alexiak and Will Borgen. And then another former Oiler, Justin Schultz and Dumoulin. So you got Schultz, Larson, Yamamoto, and Eberle. Devin Shore not playing tonight for the Seattle Kraken. Will they give him the press box welcome back, Connor Halley? That's the question. That's the bigger question. Burakovsky is still out for Seattle, so somewhat of a big loss for them. The Oilers did recall today Ernie, who's in the lineup. They recalled Lavoie. He was just down for a day. They saved about $4,400, give or take, in cap space for a day. And Philip Broberg also comes up because the Oilers put Holloway and Janmark on LTIR. Once they put Holloway on LTIR, then they were above the cap. So then you could call up the other guy because now you're in LTIR. You're not accruing cap space anymore. It doesn't matter. So that's why they put Janmark on. And they likely also called up Broberg first before Raphael Lavoie, because then Broberg is on the roster and his bonuses, it gets him closer to the ceiling, so you maximize your LTIR. There's a lot of small little details when it comes to cap. So why you were wondering about why would they do that with Lavoie? Well, there was savings, but also by having Lavoie off the roster, if you call up Broberg first, then his bonus gets you closer, and then you put Holloway and Janmark on LTIR because you're as close to the cap as you want, right? So it saves you. You don't take, because let's say the easiest way to put it is, let's say Holloway's a $925,000 player, right? And let's say your cap space is you get up to, it's $83.5 million. Well, if you're at $83 million, when you put him on LTIR, the first $500,000 is waste cap space, and then the rest of the 425 goes to LTIR. You'd rather get as close as you can to the 85 or 83.5 million. So Broberg, because of his bonuses in his contract, it's a weird thing. It gets them as close as they can to that, so they technically waste less cap space, if that makes any sense. So that's why they did it that way. And then Lavoie comes up, Adam Ernie comes up. Connor Brown not playing tonight. I think there's a very good chance you will see him in the lineup on Saturday against Tampa Bay. And my guess, unless something changes tonight, maybe Ernie plays out of his mind. But my guess would be that, Adam Ernie might be the guy who comes out of the lineup. And then Brown comes in. Would he start on the fourth line? Yes, but I think eventually he'll find himself on the right side with Connor McDavid. I don't think it'll be very long, to be honest. I think right now at the stages of their career, Connor Brown's going to offer you more than Sam Gagner in that role. Now, some would argue, what about Raphael Lavoie? And I will say this. The one thing that Raphael Lavoie's foot speed at the NHL level isn't, but Patrick Maroon's not a burner either. You play with McDavid and Nugent Hopkins, you don't have to be the fast guy off the rush. You don't have to keep up with them off the rush. But you need to be able to get open in the offensive zone. And Lavoie definitely is the best shooter. Now, would they do it? Is he ready for that? I don't know. But I'm not going to lie to say I'd be kind of intrigued just to see if maybe there's something there. Let's see. 833-401-1440. You can text us in our Jiffy Lube inbox. Hey, Gregor. 1, have they got all the best available sports psychologists for Campbell? 2, it's okay to relent on your pledge to grow it out up top. Maybe just till the end of the month from Boreal Bernie. Well, Boreal, I'll tell you right now, and I'm not a welcher. I can't do that. So I appreciate it. Connor did give me a legit out. The Oilers have to win 5 in a row, which isn't that easy. But as Connor said, but I still have to do it minimum 3 months. So if the Oilers win 5 in a row, then it would be a 3-month. And then, trust me, I'd be counting down the days. But I know what's like, see, Connor does that, but I know what's happening here. The Oilers will win 4 in a row. And then it'll be like the loss will be just like the San Jose loss. It'll just be reliving the pain. I know what you're doing. I'm not oblivious to it. I'm not against it, but I know what you're doing.
Well, yeah, and I was looking in the schedule here, trying to find like a 4-game stretch. I don't know where it is, Gregor. I mean, this team could prove us wrong. They could get hot, and who knows? But they've won 2 straight, and then they get that Florida trip. So it's a tough league, but you have an opportunity, and that's the key.
Yeah, that's the key. All right, anyone. Hey, Gregor, I know you're stuck on the Leahy, but I actually think you're going to look like Woody Harrelson in Kingpin. This is coming from another ball guy. Hey, maybe the time is right. You should host a charity bowling tournament on the night you shave it off. Maybe for Gregor's grads. Loving the show. Loving that the Oilers are losing, from Craig, the Habs fan. Especially the fact that TR was using the Habs as an example of what to do made my day. So there you go. Craig's not a Habs fan. Geez, looking like Woody and King. Well, the good news is, man, I don't think I can grow it out that. Like, it won't be long enough to be that comb-overish. Now, speaking of comb-overs, Rashog and Struds, we were debating about that. Who's maybe more in the category. Now, those guys, they've got they've got some hair growth there for sure. Mine right now, Connor, I've probably got about 4 days left where it's not noticeably terrible. Right? Like, you see a few of the sprouts coming on, and like, for me, I'm just like, ugh. And my wife's like, oh, it looks fine now. But honestly, it's been like 9 days, I think. I got about 4 more. Then it's going to start to look really noticeably terrible. And I'm not looking forward to it at all.
Best case, Jason Statham style?
Yeah, well, that'd be best case.
That's best case.
But even he probably kept it tight after a month. I'm not allowed to do that. So
yeah,
that's what's going to make it worse. Much worse. Hey, Gregor, congrats on your National Philanthropy Award. Thanks for all your contribution support in Edmonton. That one comes from Doug. Oh, thanks, Doug. I appreciate that. I'll say this. It was really inspiring to be in that room today. Listening to all the stories of people and what they do to help others was fantastic. If you're ever looking just for an upbeat event, you go next year to the National Philanthropy Day. Today was their 25th celebration. Let's see. Hey, Gregor, hasn't Gagner outproduced Brown so far this season? Doug, yes. But I don't look at 5 games and say, what's the best long-term answer? Right? Yeah, Sam Gagner had the 2-goal game. It was awesome. Right? Smart plays. I just look, when both players are playing up to their capabilities, who do I think is a better option in the top 6, I would say Brown. Now, he's got to play up to his potential. I thought his game was actually coming around before he tweaked his groin. So we'll see. Hey, guys, does sending Lavoie down for a day also restart the waiver 30-day the clock again from Corey? No, it doesn't. It's cumulative. So once Lavoie is on an NHL roster for 30 days, then he would require waivers again. The reason you don't restart it, because then every team would do it. You'd wait, the guy's on your roster for 28 days. Oh, let's ship him down for a day. Brrr, come back up. Now it starts again. So that's why they don't do that. The players would hate it. Well, they necessarily wouldn't hate it, but other teams would, because now then guys are never on waivers, right? So, no, you're on the NHL roster, either 30 days or 10 games. So tonight will be game 6 for Lavoie. Next Friday would be game 10. And then after that, he'd require waivers. So there's no restarting of it. Would be nice, but not how it works. Quick break. We'll come back. We're going to hear from Warren Foegele, Matthias Ekholm on their head coach. Early on, very early stages, what are some of the things they're seeing? I will say the one word that comes across a lot, calm, deliberate. And just Paul Coffey also, how he's working with the defense. We'll hear from that and more on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, live on Sports 1440 and Oilers Nation YouTube.
Hey world, get ready to believe. At Oodle Noodle, we serve up world-class, worldwide flavors in our sweet, saucy, and fiery noodles. We believe in the power of nudes. We've got everything from saucy mac and cheese to sizzling pad thai to so many other unbelievable dishes sure to make you a noodle convert for life. You've got to taste them to believe it. Don't be a skeptic. The proof is in the noodles. Check us out at oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle. We believe in noodles.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971. Saving you more.
Rodeo clowning felt like an exciting opportunity. Boy, was I ever wrong. The Bulls. So predictable. But you know what's exciting and unpredictable? PlayAlberta.ca. I can bet on any sports game, play online casino games anytime, and buy lottery tickets anywhere.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today and get over $100 in welcome bonuses. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
When you hand deliver a hamper to a family in need, everyone's heart fills with joy. Be part of the Holiday Hamper Program, a charitable experience unlike anything in Edmonton. Sign up to adopt a local family, fill a hamper with food and gifts, then bring it to their door and see the difference you're making firsthand. With the rising cost of living impacting so many families, the need has never been greater. Sign up for the Holiday Hamper Program today at holidayhamper.ca.
What's better than getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee? Getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee for only $4 plus tax. It's your favorite McDonald's breakfast for less. What's better than that? For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
Need a change to winter tires? Drop by a Mr. Lube location for no appointment tire service and sales. Open 7 days a week. If you're in Spruce Grove, visit Mr. Lube on the corner of Century Road and McLeod Avenue, or shop tires online at mrlube.com.
Denim Ford's roots run deep in the history of Central Alberta. Like always, you can experience the same honest pricing and honest service that you've come to expect from all of us at Denim Ford for the past 65 years. Denim Ford is proud to be Canada's only 50-time President Award-winning dealership in customer satisfaction, treating every customer like family. Visit Denim Ford on the world-famous Wetaskiwin Auto Mile or from home at denimford.ca.
Are you getting a share of the profits from your bank? Each year, Vision Credit Union returns about 75% of our credit union profits to our members through profit shares and cash dividends. Last year, our profit share payout was $14.25 million. That's a big cash infusion for our members and for rural Alberta communities. It's time you got your share of the profits. Find out how at whatsyourshare.ca.
And for my next trick, I will bend this steel using the power of my mind. Forget it. I'll take it to Metal Supermarkets. Show's over.
That's right. Metal Supermarkets specializes in metal bending in-house, often completed by the next day. Their press spray can bend metal for any project, commercial or residential. See the Metal Benders at Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
There's nothing like having a little skin in the game to make things interesting. But when a little skin becomes more than you can afford to lose, it's time to take a break from sports betting. Set a budget and stick to it. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, of course, running things digitally at OilersNation.com. Well, the D-man doesn't really chime in on the chat. Maybe what you have to do is somebody just chirp one of his MMA fans, and then you'll get him fired up. That's what you have to do, right? Little left jab, bring him back to his boxing days. Then all of a sudden he'll be in the comment section. Maybe that's how you do it. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's get inside the orders room, brought to you by Action Electrical. They, of course, just celebrated their 50th year in business. Great family. Of course, now Blake is running it for the Buntings. There's another guy, like average hair, really good business guy, but average below average hair. His wife really goes for personality. It's obvious. Really goes for personality. I'm kidding. He's a beauty of a guy. And that's a fantastic company to work for. And by the way, if you're looking for savings, if you're thinking about going, whether it's for commercial or for residential, and if you're thinking about solar, go to actionelectrical.net. They can help you out. There's all sorts of grants, lots of different ways you can save money. So check it out, actionelectrical.net. And the Oilers, Warren Fogle. Of course, many moons ago, another guy who had Chris Knobloch as a coach. But I think the one thing that's been lost a little bit is people assume that, a guy coached you 9 years ago. Like, how many people out there still talk to the coach who coached them 8 or 9 years ago? Anybody? Like, I think one of the most misconstrued things here is, McDavid really pushed for this. Chris Knobloch admitted him and McDavid had barely spoken. Right? Like, when you're 15, 16, 17, or even 18, that's your coach. Like, you might, keep in touch a little bit. The odd person might have, but most don't. It's just the reality of the world. How many of you still do? I don't care what level you coach at. It doesn't really matter. Right? And at least that coach could kind of see, hey, I see what McDavid's doing. It's kind of obvious to know what he's doing. And even then, if you know what he's doing, you're not texting lots. Imagine for people who aren't. Like, I don't know. I don't really buy that much into it. But Vogel just talked about, how practice is being now under Knobloch and a few other things that he's noticed as small differences.
We lost 2 great coaches in Woody and Mance. And I think there's some guilt in this room for sure, right? We lost 2 great guys. And, now everyone, we have to embrace Knobber here. And, he's got to learn, see how we are, and we have to see how he is. But, he's got such a calm presence. He's a great communicator. I'm fortunate enough. I played with him in Erie, so I've seen what he can do. I've won with him before. I think guys will get used to him shortly. But, today was a good first day.
What seems the same and what seems maybe a little bit different about Chris in a few years?
Yeah, it's been a while. I think the thing that sticks out is just how calm he is and his approach to handling players. He's very easy to communicate. Everyone knows their role. Very smart man. So, it'll take some time for sure, but I think we'll be good.
You said calm. But what's the way maybe he would get his message across if he needs to explain something or get something through to somebody on an individual basis?
I think just cutting ice is sending a message instead of yelling at you. So I know that's something I've experienced with him in the past. So I don't know what it's like now after, 7 years, 8 years, or whatever it's been. So, guys worked hard last night and, we know where we are in the standings. So every game's important.
I'm sure you'll find out at some point.
He talked about how he wants to put you and McLeod. He feels it's important for you guys to get chemistry. He said he knew you'd played well in the top six, but he really wants guys to find some consistency together. What do you make of that?
Yeah, briefly just chatting with him, he kind of just relayed the same message. And, I think Clouder and I, we've got a lot of speed and, we've had some success together. We had a really good, strong playoffs and, we need to build off that. And, I think it'll be good. Clouder's so smart and brings a lot of speed and creates space. So each time you play with a guy that brings, so much space for you, it opens your line mates.
Sure.
So it was interesting what he said about, the one thing with Knobloch is, he'll send a message. He's not afraid to cut ice time. So I'm curious to see, it's early on. I don't see some coach, but look in Calgary, Ryan Huska and Jonathan Huberdeau. Look in Columbus. We're talking 10 games, right? You'll give guys a runway, but then the coach is like, okay, they've probably had the conversation behind the scenes in video room numerous times. Then it's like, you know what? I got no choice, man. I'm sorry. It's not going tonight. You keep making the same mistake. Take a seat. And the great part about it is, I think some people think when you bench a player, it's going to be this massive confrontation and there's yelling. No. All that happens is usually the coach, now they might tell a guy, hey, you know what? These are the lines we're running to start a period, right? He goes in the room at intermission. We're going to run these lines now. And one guy's not on the line. You don't say anything else. Message is sent. It's received. It's pretty clear. Or if it's during the play, it's midway through the second period, guy makes another bad giveaway, bad decision on the ice for a bad goal, whatever it is. Well, now the D coach, next pair, 2 guys. Next pair, other 2 guys. Next pair, now your name's not called. They don't say anything else. Players know. You don't have to be, well, you know what? You made the same mistake, so we're doing it. Now, maybe you have that conversation afterwards, but you definitely don't do it in the course of the game. So we'll see. Connor Halley, Jason Gregor with you. Lots of text line in our Jiffy Lube inbox, 833-401-1440. Hey, boys, I saw Struddy walking to the game out of his shoes, but did he stop the skinny jeans from his ads? Maybe they were dirty. Right? Although, you know what? It's a good question. I haven't seen the Strud man lately. Is if he's not wearing the skinny jeans, does he not fit them anymore, Connor? That's the question we have to ask.
I was going to say Struddy's pretty hip, but I couldn't get it out. The trend is kind of going away from the skinny jeans, so maybe Struddy's lovely wife is taking him in a different direction, perhaps.
Oh,
because he was maybe he's embracing the old Randy River lifestyle because he used to love Randy River. Remember that?
Oh God, he loved the Randy River. Huge fan of the Randy River. So it was good. Nice. I like it. A few other quick ones. A lot of people are asking about Lavoie and the salary cap, and basically just to sum it up, there's 2 reasons why they did it. A, they saved a little bit of money by sending Lavoie down for a day, but also when they recalled Lavoie, Broberg, and Ernie, they probably recalled on paper Broberg first because he has bonuses in his contract, and that allows his cap hit to be a little bit higher, which pushes him right close to the 83.5. Then you put Holloway and Janmark on LTIR, which allows you to recall Ernie and Lavoie. So there's lots of cap gymnastics was the main reason for the Lavoie up and down. And then they bring Broberg, who won't play tonight, but Ernie will because Brown's not ready yet. So Ernie's coming in for Holloway. He'll be on the fourth line, though. Derek Ryan will start on the third line on the right wing with Fogle on the left side. On behalf of Connor Halley, I'm Jason Gregor. Thanks so much for tuning in. Also to our guest, Randy Spencer was awesome. If you missed Who Is It Wednesday, you want to go check that out at jasongregor.com or anywhere where you get our podcast of the show, Spotify, Apple, they're everywhere. And you'll really enjoy that interview, especially if you're a football fan. But even just a life fan, really good stuff. Here's the Con Man of Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. And the Road Ready sales event is on now. $225 off select tires and a $50 bonus off when you book any service up until December 16th. Right now at fountaintire.com. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It's game day. We're about 40 minutes away from puck drop as the Oilers taking on the Kraken down at the Ice District. Stuart Skinner gets the start between the pipes for the Oil. One game underway right now. Owen Tippett's sixth goal of the season has the Flyers on top of the Hurricanes 1-0 midway through the first. Later tonight, the Avs take on the Ducks and the Islanders up against the Vancouver Canucks in the Association. Raptors Bucks midway through the first quarter tied at 8 apiece. Celtics trail the 76ers 14-13. Mavs have a 52-35 lead over the Wizards, and the Knicks up on the Hawks 24-15. Still to come tonight, Bulls host the Magic. Timberwolves in the desert to take on the Suns. Lakers host the Kings and the Cavs in Portland. In the AJ this evening, 3 games on the schedule. Sherwood Park's in Lloyd. Brooks up against Canmore, and Whitecourt takes on Bonnyville. And the Oil Kings kicking off a road trip in Regina tonight, taking on the Pats. That one gets going in about 10 minutes' time. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. We've got Fox Sports Radio coming back at 9 o'clock. And then tomorrow morning, Kevin Carius and Brandon Douglas with guest host Laddie Schmid. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio